Race Brain Podcast. What is up? My name is Rich Ryan. Today, Bracken Crocker, Jack Bowers here, OG Squad. What's happening, everybody? Jack, let's start with you. How you been feeling, man?
I mean, if you look over my right shoulder, it looks like my left over here. I've got my crutches. In about 4 hours, I'll know if I need surgery or not.
Ooh.
What's your gut tell you?
My gut was everything's leaning in the right direction until about 36 hours ago. I went to hang out with VJ and Sarah. Went to their house. I just needed a change of scenery. I was so sick of not leaving the house and stuff for several days. Went over there, did some one-legged assault bike, which I don't know if you did that, Bracken, when you had your injury. It's not fun, but it's effective. Like, you get that thing up 60, 65 RPMs with one leg, and that feels like you're cresting the top of a hill during a climb. But anyway, as I was leaving the house,
building an imbalance.
I'm doing 1 day and then 2 days of something else. It's mainly like hand crank. I'm trying to do some revolving and be creative, but anyway, as I was leaving, I stubbed, I was wearing flip-flops, and they have like this half-inch lip at the front door. And as I was leaving, I thought that it was going to be ground level, and it wasn't. And I just jammed my foot on there leaving, and just everything just buckled up. And an hour later, I was at home, and I'm like, man, this is swollen. It feels way different. And I don't know. It was
You gotta tell the doctor about so what about this stub toe?
Yeah.
Tell me, is there an issue now? Did I make it
I
worse?
was wearing flip-flops because I haven't worn real shoes in
Couldn't have felt
days.
Good.
Yeah. But jammed it, and that was a step in the wrong direction. But I don't know. I'm being a realist, unfortunately. I've got a call with Corinna, because she is she's 7 months into her recovery right now. So I'm going to talk with her after, just to kind of get the reality of what's coming, good or bad, for PT.
Well, your face looks better.
It couldn't have looked worse than last week.
First time I've ever told you that. Well, your face looks good.
There we go. I'm gonna save this clip. Anytime I feel bad, I'm like, Rich gave me a compliment. So yeah. Now the nose, I've already broken that before. I know the recovery. It's don't do anything. Don't blow your nose.
Don't get hit in the face.
Don't get hit in the face. Exactly. I wasn't able to shave, because moving the trimmer, if it hit my nose, that would have been a bad idea. So
that's the mustache.
A little less.
That's why the mustache.
Yeah.
Bracken, when was the last time you got hit in the face?
I got cracked last week playing basketball.
Someone came in with a big
yeah,
bow coming
it was
down.
downward. Yeah. It was one of those where I thought, oh, that might have sliced, but I was good.
Yeah.
Did you like a Curtis Blades elbow? Did you flop?
Nah, man, I'm no flopper.
Okay, got to get those calls. It's for the team.
Bracken reminds he probably would have fit in just fine in the 80s basketball.
No, I'm not a brutal
player.
I just on my life would never call a foul.
Yeah.
Same. And pickup, no chance.
Yeah, come on, man.
I'll roll.
I'd glare at you don't come on, you know that was, but I'm not gonna be the guy who calls it out.
I'm not even gonna make eye contact. No acknowledgement. You'll never know that I know.
Okay. Yeah. I thought your example was going to be getting punched in the face or something like that. I figured Rich living in Philly, something like that probably happened, but
I haven't been punched in the face since college, outside of when I boxed. So even that would have been 2016 or something like that, 2017, 2016. So I haven't been hit with a fist in going on 7 or 8 years. I'm due.
Yeah. Well, next time we get together, we'll just go Race Brain Fight Club.
When's the last time you got hit in the face?
I told you that story at Home Depot where the dude cracked me in the face. He was showing me how to.
That's right. I mean,
intentionally in a fight.
Oh, was that a lawnmower that he hit you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was pulling it back, and he tried to show me the throttle, and he just kept pulling it, and I leaned over, just jacked me right between the eyes. And it's just it felt great. I was livid after that. I was like, yeah.
Lawsuit right there.
Yeah,
he came back the next day and asked to see the mower again.
The tiller, we're out here growing grass, and with all this rain, no problem, Jack.
You're right. Good year for you.
I couldn't even tell you last time. Probably some college situation that who knows.
I got punched in the face by a homeless guy in Houston. I went to a concert and I was leaving the venue and I forgot which side of the venue I parked on. So I pulled up Google Maps, like literally as I'm leaving, just real quick, type in the address because I always like pin my parking location.
Yes,
look down. I mean, if you're wandering around that
efficiency,
it helps. I'd rather not be wandering around. But anyway, do that, look up, and then there's some guy who's just tweaking out and he just like punched me in the face. And I was like, what the fuck? Like I basically had no idea this was coming. And then Audrey was with me. And I just like,
you said sorry.
I said sorry. No.
Yeah.
I'm like, back up. I don't want him getting near you. And the guy was like trying to challenge me to like come down some alley with him. I'm like, there's zero chance that's happening, man. No way. And I ended up walking to my car, and apparently he did that to like 4 or 5 other people along the way. You remember that thing, the knockout game, that where people would just go and just like try to knock someone out? He did it to 4 people, and I was the lucky one who didn't get knocked out. So
he knocked out 3 other people?
4.
Wow.
I gotta be honest.
Yeah,
it sucks that it happened in front of someone for you. But if a homeless man gets close enough to you to punch you, that's on you.
It was leaving literally the venue. The guy was probably waiting for someone to come around the corner.
They hang out at Taylor Swift concerts like that?
No, I'm not Aaron Rodgers.
I'd see Taylor Swift live. Absolutely.
I mean, if I'd get tickets to it and then resell it. I'd make so much money.
She was like, she went to Philly and she says she's from Philly. She's totally not. She's from like Reading, which is like an hour and a half west, but she said, "Oh, I'm from Philly." Wrong.
Get out of here.
They don't have tolerance for that.
No, everybody they posted it.
Clout on us.
Everybody was like, "No, she's not." We didn't want to claim it at all. They don't claim anybody.
That's like when people like, I'm from New Hampshire, and people from Southern New Hampshire are like, "Yeah, I'm from just outside of Boston." It's like, shut up. You're in a different state. You cannot claim Boston.
It's just outside of Boston.
I agree.
I tell people I was from New Hampshire.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Taylor Swift came to our college when she was 17 and did a free concert for the student union.
Jeez.
Wow.
You just have a student ID, you got in free.
Did you go?
So I've been to a Taylor Swift concert.
I saw Jessica Simpson at halftime at a Temple game when I was in high school.
Yeah.
That's not what I was expecting.
Yeah. She was dope. All right. Let's move along. Today we have
quite the intro.
A mix of things to talk about. Dekafit starting to get cranking. So I did a Deka mile this past weekend. So to Kent, I want to talk about how we project Deka to kind of play out this season. I want to talk about how it relates to Hyrox a little bit and what we can take away from Hyrox and then apply to Deka, and if it really is going to apply it anyway. I'm a little interested in what you guys think about how, if Deka can catch on in Europe at this point. And also, I want to talk about the Murph record, and I have an idea I want to pitch you guys at the end of the show that I think that I'm really excited about, and I think will be like pretty sick.
Unknown, awesome.
So where should we start? We can start with.
Let's talk about what happened this past weekend. A couple big performances.
You want to talk about me?
You want to talk about
I was thinking in the females division, but
so was I. Let's start with Rich.
There we go. Me and Kent. So the main story. Kent and I went to Fit Fokker for Deka miles, kind of where we get most of our Deka stuff.
And VJ.
And VJ was there as well. But so we all rolled up, and then I was ready. I was talking shit. I was talking shit to Kent.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Hey man, I don't really want to race you today." And he dodged me and he bailed out. He went slow heat. So me and VJ went, and then Kent went. Kent ran 18:12. I ran 18:32. And VJ was like 20 something, and he wasn't a good day for VJ. I think he was like kind of feeling sick on it, but it was kind of like his first time coming through on it. So now I'm looking at some of the Deka stuff and kind of where we think these qualifying times are going to lead for this year, because they've made some changes, and I think this will be an interesting conversation for people who are looking at Deka, like how what they think they're going to need to run to get to qualify for the World Championships that are in Dallas in the first week of December. Yep. So these times last year, I think the qualifying mark for Deka mile, because last year they only took 12, so they've expanded it to 20. Last year, the 12th time was 1919. So I was interested in seeing like where we think what's gonna happen with the Deka mile, and how much like harder and like how much faster things are going to be this year than last year. What do you guys think?
I think Deca Mile is one of those events that's really hard to get a true gauge on stuff, just because like you're at elevation, you had it on dirt versus someone at sea level being in a parking lot with like a nice circular loop that they can do. Like there are just a lot of variables that can truly slow you down. And we kind of saw it at World Championships where there were a few people, whether it was in Deca Strong or Deca Fit or Deca Mile. Deca Fit seemed to be pretty spot on. Like you knew what people did because it's always standardized. But there were like a few where it's like, wait, you went 19 or sub 19 on this, or you were 1140. It's like, really? And then just bombed and we're 10% slower on at championship day. So I think it's kind of hard to get a true gauge on it unless you're like one of those names that has some recognition. Of course, there are a few people who are going to sneak through the cracks who like clearly will put up a real performance, but I think that it's hit or miss on if it's like if you're a true contender and you put out a real big time at one of these local events.
Yeah, I think fit is fit, strong is strong. Like things can vary but from venue to venue, but it's not going to be big swings. Mile seems like it's just the Wild West. I watch video from, I mean, going way back to when, who is it? Kent and Isaiah did one in Colorado.
Yeah,
and you're running out down an
Colfax
alley
Strong.
doing hairpin turns, and
that's actually favorable compared to what we had. It was like a circle. It was a little uphill. It was on like wood chips. Yeah. An out and back seems to be the best way to do it. If it's a flat out and back, that's as good as you're going to get.
It's basically what the world champs were.
Yeah. So like how your turns, you can 160 meters is probably not going to be measured precisely. How many gyms have a wheel? Which means they're probably using GPS.
Oh, I hope not.
For these things.
I think Fitfocker, they take it pretty serious. They were one of like the first to buy in.
Do.
I believe it.
But like, what's the first thing you know about a CrossFit box with all their runs they have measured out? Like our block is exactly 400 meters or exactly 500 meters. Like,
it's a gym class mile.
It Definitely can't not. Be. Yeah. It could be 408 or 512 or 470, but you don't know what it is. And so immediately when there's running involved at a gym, I'm just skeptical. And then I did a strong, and then I did another strong at my place, and then I did a fit at my place, and then a fit with Marcus, and every bike was different. And it is such a difference, even between the two different assault bike brands, or the different models in assault bike. Yeah, not even taking into account like a 10-year-old model and a 10-day-old model. It's so much happens that I think strong and fit, sure, but the mile is chaos.
Bracken, didn't I send you the differences in the air bike calories? Was that you recently that I sent that to? Yeah, it's like if you use one versus the other, it's like a 40% difference.
Yeah, and I'm talking just even assault, because I think you have to have assault.
Yeah.
I'm not sure like I bet there's some gyms that are like, we have echo bikes, we're not buying assault bikes, and which then is fine. Which is fine. That's slower.
They're harder.
But like
Airdyne,
that's going to move. But even like you said, there's 3 different levels of assault bike, and the assault bike elite, which is what the Roadshow has and what will show up at Dekafit, that rides a little bit closer to an echo bike.
Well, it's belt driven.
Yes. Right. The belt driven ones are going to be, they don't give you the free energy. Like the chain driven ones, they seem to kind of carry. The belt just stops.
It was the biggest difference I felt. Yeah, the resistance is a little different, but the moment you reduce power a little bit, the bike immediately says, we're hitting the brakes.
We're done.
Whereas on a chain driven, you'll get just a spin or two. It's like a rower where you can, there is no whir up unless you're pushing.
Yes. And so that can kind of happen even when you see athletes like Ryan Corning, how he does his Deka strong and he hammers that assault bike. And there's a point where he almost kind of completely stops at the very end. And he just lets it kind of coast through. If you do that on an Echo or even on the elites, you're not going to get there. You're going to be like 24.2 and be like, oh shit, and gotta start going again.
I mean, think about the running equivalent. If you just decide to stop, you don't just miraculously get this extra propulsion to finish whatever distance. It carries you forward, but like if you genuinely stop, like say that you're done with an all-out 400, you could pretty much be stopped within like 10 steps. Like, sure, you'll coast naturally a little bit longer than that, but like you don't get that free return at the end.
When you're healthy and you're back off crutches, I want you to do that right into your program, 400 meters, and then just like try to dead stop and see how far you roll.
Deceleration for time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I own that record. I went 21 miles an hour to 0 in one step.
Right to your face.
But you can go in and out on a regular assault bike, which is how I work the bike usually. I'll go like 5 hard, 2 easy, 5 hard, 3 easy, or easier, and it keeps momentum up without having to put out the whole time. And I tried that on the Echo bike, and it just went like done. Even running, you can do in and out. You can even race surge style, and you can coast for a bit. There's just no coasting on the belt driven. So anyway, I think that bike choice and things like that do matter, but certainly the distance of the run. I would say on a 160 meter run, well, which almost 160.1 is what it really should be. But I guarantee that at best you're getting plus or minus 10 to 20 meters on what it actually is.
For sure. So like the
Which adds up.
It does. And so the Deka mile in terms of qualifiers is going to be the closest to what we have from a qualification system like Hyrox, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, like the strong, there's certainly layouts that are more advantageous than others. But like if you really wanted to have a good layout, like you could figure it out. Right. You could make it work or find a gym that's gonna, and like the gyms seem to be tinkering with it because they understand that these times do matter. So they're trying to be a little bit more efficient with how things kind of move along. But
good to bad is what?
What's
10 to 15 seconds, a good to bad strong setup.
Yeah, and it's all transition. Right. So I would say 10.
Yeah. Honestly, probably the Hyrox World Championship had a bad setup compared to a lot of the gyms you'll find. Like the strong I went at the gym I did, it was a better setup than
the Deka World Championship. Yes.
Yeah,
big time. That was just like extended.
Rich loved it.
Yeah, Deka.
That was a Deka 400.
That's a new one that they're rolling out. Deka Strong Endurance is what that one was. That's where the Deka Mile, I think that's about as good of a setup that you could possibly have, with it just kind of coasting you in and like easy transitions in and out. And when you're on that concrete floor, the sled's a little bit easier. So Kent's record 16:55 is like nuts.
Yeah.
And like that won't get broken until Worlds this year if it's the same type of setup. So with that, they expanded to 20. What do we think about that? So apparently we're going to be 20 qualifiers in each spot for Dekafit, Deka Mile, Deka Strong, Deka Fire? Not Deka Fire. No. What am I missing one?
Relays.
And then there is teams at the end of each of these days. Yeah. So that's kind of what we think the format's going to be. It's like Friday, Dekafit, Friday night, Dekafit teams, then Deka Mile on Saturday, Deka Mile team Saturday evening, Deka Strong on Sunday, Deka Strong teams. Needed that one Sunday evening, I believe, is what it's looking like.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up. We got a text from Yancey, and I think that is the correct description. So
nice.
Yep.
This is one of those things that's endlessly debatable, and I don't know if you can fix it because it's too much for one weekend. And so like for 2 heats, 20 people in the mile. I think the mile is the only one that needs 20 people because it's the only one where the variance in the facilities could matter enough that there could be someone qualified 20th that could be a top 5 person.
Yeah.
I think the strong or the full, you're not going to get. Like you'll have 1 to 2 people in those next 8 qualifiers that have a chance. So you're kind of adding a lot of people in order to avoid missing one. So you almost need a prelim and a final of the mile.
Yeah,
but now
you want prelim.
Well, in order to get the right people on the right weekend there. But because otherwise you're going to have someone from the slow heat displace someone in the fast heat. And it's going to be like, well, they got to front run and got clean entry in and out. And I was running in an 8th and trying to, cluster in and out. So
you had somebody to pace off of. It's both ways. I think
there's going to be an argument. I don't think you can fix it because even if you wanted to do prelims and finals, now you can't run the other events.
Right.
So I don't know what the fix is other than that it's messy because there's so many options.
Well, we were complaining with Hyrox that 15 is too small of a number for qualifiers, and they definitely have a longer race where people are, on the course at the same time. what are your thoughts about, should it have been 30 for this? Should we have done 15? Should we have made it 10 because Deka is a base 10, or should we kept it 12 because that's what we did last year? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
For Deka?
Yeah.
So I don't hate the expansion into 20. I agree with Bracken quite a bit in terms of like the mile, right? That makes complete sense. And if things start to get a little bit more competitive, and if the only way you can qualify through a strong and mile are at these gym events, like, yeah, 20 is a good idea. Like, doesn't need to be 20 for, the men's 50 to 54 age group. Like, seems like a lot, right? It seems like if you want to do world championships, like, you're going to be able to do world championships to a certain extent. So expanding it that way. But I guess the question I really have is, what kind of growth can we expect? Mm-hmm. There's a couple of international events popping up. There's one in Canada, there's one in Great Britain, there's one in Spain. And is it going to be easier to try to make this an international event? Because, I mean, we're calling it world championships, but like, it's pretty domestic in terms of the participation.
Yeah, Chris Woolley and Anas last year.
Yeah, we'll count Anas, even though he lives in California.
Well, I know. I think you nailed it, Rich. Like, that's the difference between Hyrox and Deka, is that Hyrox is a true world championship.
Yes,
you have double-digit people in the U.S. and double-digit in Europe that deserve to be there. So 15 is not enough. Here, I'd be happy actually with 10 in each race for Deka. Keep it the Deka 10, and push people more towards specializing. Like, it was cool and epic as it is to watch people try to run every single one. I don't know if it's necessary for the sport to grow. Now, if it goes international and becomes a world championship, then you got to add more qualifiers. But something about Deka and 10 sounds cool to me. I like that. And then you'd have people go after their best event. But Hyrox needs more. I'm not convinced Deka needs more, but I'm not against it either, certainly. I think getting the most good people to world championship, having extra people who don't deserve to be there, is way better than having people who deserve to be there missing out.
Yes, I would agree on that.
Let's not forget that Hyrox is a European company, so of course they're going to have more of an international field, just kind of by default, because you're going to see the American. Like, there's no way Lauren or Hunter, they're not going to not try that. I think that you're definitely seeing limited options to qualify for the US brand, which is Deka in this case, and that's what's keeping some names out. But obviously, like, if you expanded it, there's no way that all the top 15 basically, like, they would do really well in this. I have a feeling from Europe. Like, yeah, maybe not according to Rich, but
I think you'd have some guys that are like, Tim would be a stud, Sandy would probably be a stud. Then you'd have some of their big guys who I don't think running 160 or 500 would be good for them.
But what about Deka Strong? They've got an option there, maybe. So
yeah.
And I think, just like Jackie mentioned it briefly, the amount of events, like, we have 7 in the United. Well, I guess, like, I don't know off the top of my head, but say it's 10 worldwide this year for Deka. And when Hyrox has what's that?
Oh, Dekafit, because they've got plenty.
They have a bunch of the affiliates, right? But like those, you can't only qualify for Dekafit at these like 10 events. Hyrox has like over 30, right? They have like close to 40, I think, worldwide every year. So like, that also, just by the nature of having more events, it's going to be a bigger draw for people. So yeah, like, does it need, like, was this expansion premature, or is it, I don't think it's a bad thing. I kind of think it's fine. Just if people want, like, they have a goal, they can make it happen. It can invite more people in. It can give more people a reason to focus on Deka. With the emergence of Hyrox and how popular it is, in popularity, like, I don't really know how to quantify this, but people seem to like Hyrox a little bit more, and expanding is potentially a way to combat that and be like, you should still come here. You can have a world championship event and on this soil. So I don't know. I think it's okay that they're up to 20.
It's fine. I'm not against it. It just would have excited me more for Hyrox to do it, because Hyrox is 2 years down the line of progression wise.
Yeah. If you look at just a comparison though, having 20, there are a bunch of 5-year age groups. Now you're having essentially double the amount of age groupers. And if you look at a world championship, like when Spartan was a Tahoe, for instance, or any of the OCR worlds, like, those people in the age group divisions, they show up like no matter what. They love that opportunity to compete at an age group world championship. Like I know Rich, you were coaching like Cheryl Snow. She's one of the best age groupers out there and stuff. Like they take it seriously, and I think that opening it for more people to compete in, that you're gonna have, that's probably gonna like draw more people to consistently do it and help it grow in the US.
Yeah. I thought I was kind of blown away last year with the participation at the World Championships in Atlantic City and how far people would travel. Like I had a guy who I helped coach to get to the Deka Strong. He just did Deka Strong and came from California. And that was like
one race. Yeah.
one race. And he was like, hey, this is something if I put my focus toward, I wonder, like, what could I do? I still want to be competitive. Like, let's go. Yeah. He was like in the 50 to 54. And he's like, let's go. I don't care. So from that perspective, I really like that they have the 3 different options and that it expands it more. Like, and I was also very impressed with the caliber of athlete all throughout all the age groups, right? Like this will water that down a little bit, but we're still going to get the top at the top who are very adamant and still very impressive. So I always had that issue with Spartan where they would have like, you could qualify for Tahoe, but like you basically just had to run elite and it would just roll down so far that everybody kind of made it. So from that perspective, I'm kind of like, I mean, it's still only 20, even on the elite side. It's going to be hard. This is not a layup to make this.
No. And I think that's like the sweet spot to be in, where you could have a debate. Could we allow more people in? Yes. Versus having the debate, why do we have so many, jokers here? Or why do we have so many studs not here? So Hyrox, I mean, not Hyrox, Deka is in the sweet spot. And I'm with Jack. I'd expand the age groups to 20 as well. They're the people that are going to fund this thing anyways. They're not taking home prize money, but they're going to fund the prize money and they're going to show up in droves. And the more people you get there, the more it feels like an event. It's part of the reason Hyrox is more popular is you show up and it's like a concert.
It's a party.
It's huge. It has energy in the building, and Deka hasn't really had energy at many buildings yet.
I personally think that the best thing they're doing is adding the team races. Those races are so exciting. The NC did confirm that you have to have competed on a team. Like Rich, you couldn't say that you and Kent didn't team up and then you're like, hey, or you and Rylan, you never actually ran a Deka team mile together. You can't just decide on World Championship Day that you want to do that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Which is good. I think that, you have to qualify with the people you want to, but that is where a lot of the excitement's going to be. And I think especially with like age group and elite, like it would just be crazy to kind of see some people going after you and Bridget's record, for instance, and co-ed and bring it, not happening. But yeah, I think that adding the teams divisions, that's going to really bring some excitement and make it have a lot more energy in the building.
And it's an extra body that potentially wouldn't have qualified for any other race that's going to be there. Right.
And Bracken, you kind of said you were gonna just cherry pick teams, right?
Big team guy. Relay specialist.
That being said, I still think it's not the ideal concept for how to execute teams.
I
don't love it.
I like it. I mean, it's better than Hyrox.
It's better than Hyrox, but I'd prefer defined roles because I think it's hard to track as a viewer. I'd love to know that this person's running the first 3 and this person's doing the next 3 and then this person's doing the final 4, whatever it's going to be.
Like a proper relay.
A proper relay rather than, I'm not really sure. We're trying to figure out the team's strategies and their positioning and what does their positioning mean based off their strategy. I don't like the fact that I don't know.
I like the strategy.
It's a different wrinkle.
It's a cool thing, but not for a viewer. And the sport needs viewership.
See, I've been to probably 4 or 5 of them and done the relay a few times, and just you'll see like a team like John Clark and Chaz Haddon, the 2 of them, and it's like, all right, John is a monster on the runs, and Chaz he's a really good Deka Strong athlete as well. And just seeing the 2 of them pair versus a very balanced team, it's like they were the ones who won because they had separate strengths and stuff and they utilized it perfectly during the race. Like John, I think he did 1 or 2 of the zones while Chaz did most of the rest, and he's a good enough runner to get by at the beginning. And I just think that strategy piece, like it's exciting because there are some teams that stick around for like the first 6 zones until the air bike or whatever, and it's like, how are they with us? But it's because they're monsters on some of those machines and stations earlier on, and then of course the whoever has the bigger engine usually wins out at the end. But I like the back and forth, and you never know who's actually predictably
I
going
like
to be
all
in the
those
lead.
things.
What
I
don't
just
you
don't
like?
know of anyone who watched it.
That's the thing. It would need to be some sort of aerial view so you could see how people are kind of changing, because it can change actually on the fly too. Like Magida and Mark Gaudet have the men's record,
Yeah.
and during it, Magida would just be like, "I can't go, Mark, do more running." Like they would switch it
Yeah.
in the middle, right?
Well,
So
and keep in mind that you guys were there. And at a track meter or something, you know what's going on. There's whispers of strategy. You're hearing, like, this person's switching to this. When you're watching from afar, all you get to see is the race and not all of it. And so you have all those pieces removed. So yeah, in person, it's going to be spectacular. But just remember that every person watching on their screen doesn't have access to the inside information. So it's chaos to the outsider.
yeah,
The way that relays work on TV is that you can see where everyone stands up, and you can watch very clearly. If the sound was off or you didn't know anything about the sport, you would understand what's happening. And that's compelling. Being on site, the unknown of it gets talked about, and you're like, hey, did you hear what they did? Yeah. It's cool. But we don't see that. So I'm not debating that it's not awesome. It's just not palatable for an outside viewer.
So you're basically saying there's like some confusion. It's like if we're watching a baseball game, you know it's going to be 9 innings. Like, you know there are going to be 10 zones, but one inning might have 2 outs, the next one might have 4, and you just can't really keep track of it logically. Is that kind of what you're?
It'd be like watching a 4x8 where not every team runs 800 per leg.
someone runs a 1200. Someone
DMR
runs
you don't-
out of order. Or...
Yeah, and so you have to complete 3,200 meters, but there's no rule for how. And at home, without knowing how they've delegated it, you're watching like, well, there's 2 people on the track. Is that intentional? And then what was that split? Okay, are they? So without knowing what the plan is, you can't gauge what's happening. Where in person, you get all of that. So I'm not arguing against that. I love it. It's just that for the viewers, which it's going to need to keep the sport going, there has to be some sort of understanding of what they're watching.
Well, Deka also always is 2 laps, unlike Hyrox. So I think they'll have an easier way of at least piecing it together from a visual thing, because you saw with Hyrox, it was like 4 laps for the World Championship, super tight. Like you can actually kind of predict where people are going to be. There's never really more than like a 1 lap gap at any point during the race.
And if you have banging ass mod jerseys,
Yeah,
people will know.
Team jerseys would be super helpful.
Yeah,
Yep.
but
And maybe I'm just banging on about something that doesn't matter. But
it's a point.
I didn't know any of these things about Magida and Gaudet. I didn't know about any of those things because no one knew unless you were there.
True.
And those things would make it so much fun to know.
Yeah. It'd be interesting if there was if you did have to do a commentator role on this and you saw people switching in the middle of the skier, for example, be like, oh, here's interesting. And then like seeing people how they kind of move in and out. Like, would you be able to follow it in
yeah, I did that with Dave Claxton. Like you can do it.
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I figured you're too busy gloating after your World Championship, but
My chest was puffed up, no shirt on. I was just walking around.
He's full J.R. Smith.
Yeah, dude.
People were just bowing in his presence.
It was amazing.
Yeah. Yep.
So what do we think about the times? So I'm going to kind of go through it a little bit, and we can maybe kind of go through and predict what we think it's going to take to qualify and this year, and potentially what we can see at the high end of everything. So
You want to do a screen share?
I could do a screen share.
Yeah.
I don't want to, but I could.
Yeah, good.
Let's see.
I think we're gonna have new talent or new people try this who we might not expect to do, throw down a sub 32 or a sub 35 for the men and women, who might have been in like the OCR domain. But I feel like you're not a seismic shift, but you're seeing a shift away from OCR a lot among the top. Like VJ mentioned, he's going to go all in on hybrid next year and stuff. Like I think you're going to see some more people who we aren't expecting to do that, and they'll definitely raise the talent level.
Rich, you do a little work here.
Come on,
Whoa.
man. Please. I got multi monitors now, so I'm just going crazy. I'm
Oh
like,
my
what can I
goodness.
fit?
Yeah.
What can I see? So we're looking over here. What we got is these are the 2023 times, and I wrote down the 2022 times. So want to start with just Dekafit? When I
Yeah.
say Deka, you say fit. So the men's times last year, the top time was 28:28. That's Ryland's current record. 12th time. This is not the 12th qualifier. This is the 12th time. Like if everybody accepted, was 31:28. The 20th time last year was 32:27. So let me go ahead and pull up Dekafit. See if we can kind of see. Can you guys see all this?
Mhm.
Yep.
So let's get down to 20. Oh, perfect. Look at that. Look at this work I'm doing. 1 through 20 just fitting.
Amazing. You have the perfect size monitor.
I'm just crushing.
I don't know. I can't see the 20th time because of your toolbar.
Oh my goodness. How about
Yeah.
bang? How about now?
Oh, you go up there to. Oh, okay, Rich. I just lost some respect. That's
Is
how
there a-
you zoom out.
Is there a shortcut?
Is there a
Control and then use
shortcut?
the mouse, like the wheel. Control
You
forward or
Mac
backwards
people.
with it.
Control what?
Like hold the control key and then with your mouse on
I don't
that
got
the wheel.
I don't got no mouse wheel.
Oh, all right, whatever. How about control plus or control minus? That might work unless
There we
you're.
go.
Oh, you've got stupid. You have a Mac. Never mind.
I'm on
You're
Chrome.
helpless.
You guys are okay. You guys go talk about how cool Androids are. Again, we had a whole segment during the watch along for people that are interested in why Androids
Better
are
phones.
superior to iPhones. If you want to check that out, we're up to like 5,000 views on that. It's
Yeah.
like the only place where the World Championship exists.
I mean, we are the bootleg world championship headquarters, basically.
We are it. If you want to watch
Yeah.
along with have it make no sense, come through.
Yeah.
So what do we think? What do we think's possible at the top end here?
All right. Let's see who's missing from this list.
Double
You.
it. You just got to double everything.
Double it?
Yeah. That 10th place time is going to be the 20th time by the end of the year. I think you're going to have to crack 32
so?
to have a shot.
Okay.
To have even a prayer. And honestly, it might be more like 31.
I said 31:45
50.
entering the year.
Like, do you think it's going to be like the last qualifying spot at top 12 will be the same as
I think it's in between.
somewhere in between? So like a
Right in
31, 45.
Yeah.
Well, just look at the list right here. So you've got Colin Stiefer, who he's a new name on this.
Mhm.
VJ is going to be doing it. A lot of them though are pretty. Tate Cowley's new, Kyle Reed's new from last year, but a lot of them are repeat athlete. Grady Jackson, he didn't do one last year. So you might have like 5 new names, and you're probably gonna have most of the top 10 to 15 last year. Like we don't see Killian, he made it. We don't see
Nick Riker.
Nick Riker's up there, yeah.
Out here, dude.
Look at
Magida,
him.
Dylan Scott, they haven't done it yet. So I think that
True.
like there are a few names that are going to trickle down. Derek Yorick, he'll somehow get in because he definitely can do that.
International too. Spain.
You'll
fast.
see, yeah,
Spain's gonna be fast.
yeah.
Fast
Same
people. in Spain.
organizers as Hyrox.
Fast people in Spain. But there are like I would love to see BK. Are you muted? Impossible. Who knew?
I wasn't talking.
Who knew? Deal.
Just doing jaw exercises.
The fake out, pump fake game is nice. Then, but there are some Joffrey's in and around Spain. I mean, he's French and he lives in France, but he gets to Spain pretty often. And
I can see a guy like Tiago doing well. He's in Portugal.
Jonathan Wynn, he lives in Spain. Like he could be out there. The UK, like I don't know, maybe we'll get some of the Hyrox folks.
Yeah. Do you know when their event is?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay, because I know the OCR European Championships is this weekend, so you might see a shift from some people. It's like, all right, my OCR season kind of peaked for that. Now I'll try a new event. So
does
good timing.
I don't know how much it overlaps over there. I think it's like there are hybrid athletes, and then there is like with some exceptions, like Viola kind of is crossing over, but not a lot.
That's true.
So can we name 10 people that we think can beat 32 flat that haven't done it yet or that will?
It'd be
so
close.
Rich, you're not on here.
Yep.
Okay, Jack, are you going to?
I would have, yeah. I went 31:47 last year, but
Okay.
now I don't think I
Well,
could
we
break
don't know.
60.
So
Yeah.
so we're optimistic. So you.
Yeah.
I would like to think I will.
BK, the three of us here.
Yep. We got us
Kirk
three.
could.
Kirk's not going to
He's
do it
not gonna
until
do it.
next year.
I know.
Magida,
backing out.
Dylan,
Makita, Dylan, yeah.
then
Killian did. He's done it multiple times.
Yeah. Killian.
Grayson Kilgore if he gets in one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Totally.
Marcus Wallace will.
Marcus. Yeah, I think that's fair. Where are we at? 7?
That's 8.
And then just say 3 international athletes. Like
So you're at 11, and we haven't even touched on any fringe athletes or people moving up.
yeah.
Yeah. Like last year, we named all the people. Chris Woolley had be and Dade Collins, but he's also pretty much he's going to be injured for a while, I believe. Cole Schwartz went 31:51. Derek Yorick went 31:59. Mark Paulzine, he went 32 flat. So those are
Then
kind
you've
of
got like Jarrett Newby. You've got 2 or 3
Forrest Bogue.
noob sanity guys that could
Forrest.
probably all do it.
Yep.
Forrest.
Good. Yeah.
All right. So there's a number of
I
people
would
that
say
aren't
we can
on here.
name 11 to 15, and there's probably equal that who believe they will.
Yeah.
So
It's
I think
just-
sub 32 is mandatory to be sniffing top 20.
Yeah. I don't think you'd see a Tyler Veerman or something, but like
No.
people in his realm could totally do it as well, who have dipped in a stadium before and have a little bit of strength.
31:40.
Isaiah probably could.
I don't think
know
he's a
about
good enough
that,
runner.
dude. I don't think so.
You don't think so?
He only went like 12:40 in Deka Strong when I went head to head with him. I was kind of surprised.
I'm sure you do better than that now.
That was like 2 years ago when everyone was new.
But his running is
Victor?
potentially. I mean, he's been a little off of his
he
game.
was 32 and a half or so last year. I think he's kind of his best day
Landshark?
behind.
I don't know if he's fast enough.
No.
What are we saying?
I think anyone who can go sub 64 can go sub 32.
Yeah. Austin Azar.
Jesse Bruce.
Brewster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Atkins, if he wanted to. Yeah, you've got plenty. I think it's going to be 31 high. That is the cutoff.
And
put a
there'll be
number on
more
it.
rolling down with 20
Yeah.
options.
Let's just say the 20th time.
Yeah, and you've also got like John Howard and John Howard III there. So like there are a couple duplicates on the official list. So it's really like 3301. It's a duplicate. So yeah, it's 33 right now. I think it's going to be 32 for the guys.
Like Tate will move up.
31.50.
Jeremiah Mahan will move up.
Yep.
John will move up. John Clark will move up. Gaudet will go faster than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All these guys are going to go quicker. So
If they race, there's 3 more races, and
That's
they're
the thing.
all East Coast
East Coast.
and Midwest. Shout out, Fort
Nope.
Wayne, Indiana. Not for
oh,
BK.
that is still happening.
No, it's not happening for you, but it's happening for the rest of the world.
I just assumed they
believe.
canceled it when I couldn't go.
If you can't go, yeah, your world. This is the race brain world.
I'm going to fly out, qualify, and then not accept my invite just to spite that road show.
Just run like your own time trial. That will be
Yeah.
okay.
I'm going to live stream it.
Yeah.
We'll
All the
live
runs are
stream
going to
it.
be a little short.
All right. So I'm saying 3140. If you want to make the top 20 in Dekafit for the men, 3140 should be your goal. Safely.
What
Safely.
about podium threat?
You're going to have probably 5 to 6 people under 30 this year.
How close do you think the top could get to 28 flat or under? Kent's
28 flat?
Kent's saying 27 this year. And I said, bro, better check yourself.
He's on
Yeah.
that Aaron Rodgers.
'Cause it's like-
ayahuasca stuff.
If that like a 27 flat, if you just do the math, it's like
He thinks
7
27 flat, not 59.
say 28 flat, sorry.
Oh,
28
okay.
28 flat, you got to run 17 flat for the 5K
Ugh.
and then 11 flat for the strong, which is doable. Like when Rylan did this 28, his Deka strong broken out was close to, was like 11:15 or something like that.
Kent has been like 1040 on
Right.
some of his strongs. Like
And-
it's totally doable, but then you lose out on the run a little bit.
If he's
He would have been in the
bitch.
28s had he not messed up his hamstring in Sacramento when we were there.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
I never saw his hamstring. It wasn't hurt. He was just like
Limping around downtown.
tossed it, threw in
I
the
was with him.
towel.
Yeah.
Sit-ups took him out.
Yep.
I think there are 10 people minimum who will break 30 this year.
10.
10.
10.
Okay, let's look at so Rich.
Okay, so you
Rylan,
already have
Kent,
Rylan and Kent.
VJ
VJ
will.
will. Riker
Riker
can.
has a shot. Anas
should.
can. Yep, agreed.
Not should.
And then from
Magida
there,
should.
you add Magida.
Healthy Magida.
You add Rich. And
We
then
already
there's
said
only
Rich.
I think we're at 6.
Grayson, I think if he does it, he
Grayson
will.
potentially.
Kent,
Brett.
Jones, Riker, Anas, Rich, Magida. And then that leaves 3 people between all the rest of US and all the rest of the UK and Spain.
Okay.
I think that 10 people, I'm not saying we get 10, but I think it's legit. I would put it at even money that 10 people break.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't think about it like that. It could be you, Bracken.
Marcus Wallace.
Could be Marcus.
I think you guys are underestimating the steamroller from the 414.
The Debo of Greater Milwaukee.
Ugh.
Freaking hybrid fitness racing. Grayson, BK, Marcus. If we're just being
People who have shots at it.
People have shots at. Yeah, I agree. Okay. So then to get on the podium, I mean last year I think
it was slower though.
I think everybody's under 29. Or no. Rylan may have been 29 low.
At World Champs last year.
Yeah. Or maybe even Kent was 29 low.
It's too long of a weekend.
It was the first race.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Rich, I've got it
You got
pulled up on here. So 28.52 is what you went. 29.05 Kent, 29.14 Rylan, 29.47 Magida, and then 30.29 for Woolley. So a little bit of a drop off.
Well, it's what we always say. You can't all PR at a championship race.
No. Right.
Because it's not time trialed. It's not like let's get on the train and all run fast. It's just haymakers get thrown, and that knocks people off.
So this record could get broken. I mean, we're still in the infancy of this sport, so the record will probably be broken. And then there's 3 guys returning who are under 29, so you'd assume that you would need to be sub 29 to have a shot at the podium. And just how low can the athletes go into those 28s?
Look at this year's Deka Strong leaderboard. I'm just curious if anybody's put out a time that we're just overlooking.
For what? Deka Strong?
Yeah, there might be a couple guys. Okay, so it's you already have Magida and Kilgore and Forrest and you. Okay, so you've all been about 12 flat. Yeah, it's just trying to think if we were missing anybody.
I mean, Forrest is a guy that could legitimately push towards a 30 flat.
Yeah, totally.
Because we still haven't seen a healthy high run volume Forrest.
Right.
Forrest has been doing all of this off of major health issues.
All right. We're on Deka Strong. So let's just say, okay, if you guys had to say that somebody gets under 28, what's the likelihood?
Under 28.
17 flat, 11 flat.
You're going to need the 4 of you, the big dogs, to all just go for it.
I think that's how it happens.
Yeah.
It'd be like Orlando again, right? It's going to be this
Palm
floater.
Beach, yeah.
It's going to be the floater race. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's only 3 people even capable of it. And
Hunter.
Yeah, BK.
I'm putting VJ in that mix.
There was something you were commentating on, Brack. I think it was at 3K, and you were saying Rylan is the best at Dekafitter in the world. No disrespect to Ryan Kent, and disrespect to me is what happened. Yeah. That's where that's where there was disrespect. So, okay, the 3 people that can do it. Yeah, Rylan.
I got off that,
Hunter.
And I had 7 messages on my phone I love that you intentionally left Rich off that.
You're yeah.
I forgot Rich won world championship.
It was all messages from me, this motherfucker.
Yeah. It's all his burners. No, I'm sorry for that. That was a huge.
No, that's fine. I put it on my shoulder. The chips carry. That's what we do on the show.
Lisa and I started watching The Last Dance this week because she hasn't seen it ever.
Oh, sweet, really?
Yeah.
For some reason, when you said that, I immediately thought Save the Last Dance, and I was like,
"Come on, we've seen that."
I was like, "That's cool." Rewatching that.
Anyway, less chips on the shoulder and Save the Last Dance, but
yes,
yeah, I think
though.
You're having your MJ moment here, and I'm sorry, and you're welcome.
Thank you, and I'm mad.
I 28 flat though, it would just take such a perfect race. You would need to have a good battle going, and then you'd need to break away from someone with energy.
Yeah.
So it'd have to be a good battle that wasn't with Rylan because he's too aggressive early.
Yeah.
Like I think it would take Rylan chilling or Rich and Kent in a race together or Rylan solo. I don't think it can be someone battling Rylan. I don't think the record gets set in a race that he's in unless he sets it.
Unless he's it. Well, he raced well and smart, less aggressive at that 3K.
He sure did.
So we could see some tactics.
6th place. Yeah.
But he's so strong on the rower that I think he just is like, I'm going to mash this thing. Every time I sit on it, there's no choice. I have no choice but to mash this thing.
Yeah.
He's so good and aggressive at transitional running that, again, like, I don't know if he ran the way VJ runs everything. I think that would be the best setup possible. Just like, let's smooth the whole race out. No spikes, just one flat course.
I think we're overlooking VJ also because of the running component in there. Like he definitely got it handed to him this weekend, but he wasn't really healthy.
No. Yeah, it doesn't count.
Yeah. I think
I shouldn't ever underestimate him.
Yeah.
But there's so much power output required that he can do it, but it'll always cost him more. Like he's got to find 2 minutes, and probably only 20 seconds will come on the run, which means he's got 1:40 of stations to find without getting slower and while getting faster on the run, which again, he could do because his row impressed me. It really did, but
his experience on the machines is so small, comparatively to what Kent, myself, and Rylan do. Like he's so new to that stuff. So the rate of improvement could be exponential.
His lifting numbers have gone up like crazy. I think he's gonna.
I don't think it's
shock
this
some
year.
people.
I hope he hears that and like, this guy's an idiot, and I go out and I'm going to prove him wrong. That's cool. But I think I took it as we were talking about this year. I think there are 3 people capable of it
this year.
Sub 28. Yeah. Okay. That's fair. Not that VJ couldn't podium or even win, right? Like, because sub 28 at a championship seems unlikely.
Get VJ competition. He's in the 28s this year.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I think he could. I just think that the 3 best in the world didn't do it in their first year in the sport. So he'd have to be 30 seconds better than the best to ever do it in his inaugural year. So, I mean, granted he's done 1 or 2 before, but this is his first year even trying to train for it. Yeah. I think it would just take more than 1 season for anyone to do it.
Let's move on to the
Hunter,
women.
I guess.
Hunter, for sure. He would. He'd be like the way he could
giving him.
I know because he'd smash the machine so hard. Like, I don't know if it would like tip him potentially. I don't know what his 5K and 10K ability is not great.
He was not running slowly in that race though.
It's slower than Kent's.
It's still Hyrox. It's still it's still twice the duration. So the running pace is like.
He believes he's always in sub 16 shape.
What? Has he ever been sub 16?
I don't know if that matters.
He cannot list his actual PRs ever. If you've heard him in an interview, he's like, yeah, I run like, sub 5 for that. Like, he doesn't actually list his numbers. So I don't know.
He doesn't have any.
He's done stuff like an OCR stars. He's done that. Like, he did like 440 high in the mile. He was like in his 3 mile. I don't know. Like, or maybe he didn't do that 3 mile. He did the 6 mile. Not super impressive. I don't think he's ever been under 16. I would take the over.
Well, I don't think he's ever run many road races. I don't know if he has more than 1 5K in his life that he's run.
Imagine being a runner and seeing him at a road race. Be like, what the fuck?
Matt, how do you think the guy looked at Bracken when he did his 800
with those pipes out there?
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, he's 20 pounds more than me with only another inch or 2 of frame.
Right.
When you watch him run at the beginning, you'd be like, look at this huge horse next to me. He's going to die so bad. And then at 2 miles, when he's still chugging, you'd be like, this.
It's like, do I suck? It's like, no, this guy's
happening.
This guy's awesome. All right, let's move on to the women. So
before you do, I think he ran a 119 half at an Xterra race with like 1,600 or 2,000 feet of vert.
That's legit.
It's good.
And he beat some legit runners. And I always think, like, what was their thought 9 miles into this as he's resurging them at like 5:30 pace on these trails? What is their thought of watching Hunter run a trail half?
Yeah, they
Just
must be like, what in the freaking
Doesn't
world?
compute.
No.
All right.
Now
Women?
switch gears.
Now we're on to the women. All right. So last year, top time, Tara Jackson was 32:44. The 12th place time, the final qualifier. Again, this rolled down considerable amount, I believe. This was Miranda's time. It was 35:52, and the 20th time last year it was 37 flat. This year so far, it's kind of lining up pretty similar to that.
What I'm liking are the new names, though.
That's the thing.
Like
We're
Nicole
seeing
Miracle's on here. Calypso Sheridan, Viola, she's on the list. Carrie Nakuda in 7th place. She's really fast
new.
runner.
Yep.
You saw Teresa. She came in. She has a couple podiums or one at least. Julie Best, National Series podium. She's in 17th. Faye Morgan's in 19th. So that we know these names, and if they're barely on the cutoff right now, that's good for the rest of the year, in my opinion.
Without any East Coast raced yet.
Yep.
Yeah, and there's some good East Coast hybrid women.
Like Meg has to run.
Yep.
Right.
Laura
And Meg.
Cummings.
Laura
You haven't seen
Cummings.
her yet. Vivian.
Right. Who'd you say, Bracken?
I said, yeah, and Meg, I suppose.
Yeah, Meg's for sure. We would imagine that we would see. Oh man, I can't believe this is slipping my brain. Bad
Kelly
job, Meg.
Fragloski. She's not on here.
Well, not Callie. Chris Rogloski,
Kelly.
yes. Kelly,
Sullivan.
probably. But who got
Oh,
third
yeah.
at Hyrox?
Jesus, Belle McFarlane.
Belle McFarlane. You would imagine
Yeah.
we see Belle McFarlane in this as well
Yeah.
with the splashes she made, and she
Yeah,
probably
Alondra's
do
not on the list.
really well. Alondra's not on here. Yeah, so this is about to get real thick,
Real
and this seems to
competitive.
be that like the new names on the women's side they're more prevalent than on the men's. I
Yeah.
would say.
And Tara's got you said she went 32:44. She's 34:04 right now, so she's got a lot of time to get back in shape. Meg Jacoby's not on the list. Forgot about her.
No, we didn't. We said it. You weren't
Oh,
listening.
all right, sorry.
We said it like twice.
Twice.
We said at least
Man.
two. We said her name how many times, Bracken? 3, 4?
Sounds
Not
like
Bracken.
seven.
twice.
7-ish.
7. Dang, man, deaf.
I was
Pay
trying to look
attention,
up
bro.
Hunter's Xterra race result.
Oh my goodness. We've moved along.
Not me. I'll never.
I'll find it.
I will die. So yeah, where do we think on the women's end, right? Like, so the top time,
It says
32:44.
126.
That's not as fast as you said.
1,500 feet of vert.
Trail though. Yeah.
What won that race? Did 119 even win that race? What shoes was he wearing? More importantly,
124 by Anthony Fagundes.
Fremundus?
Fagundes.
Anthony Fremunda.
All right, let's go back.
Guys,
What do we
stay on track?
The other
top-
surprising thing, you look at this, and there are so many 35 to 39-year-old women in this list. Like, it's just that category is everywhere in here. So,
Holler.
or 30 to 34. Yeah, it's we get a little bit more young talent. That'll be even deeper.
Still got a couple years, I think, until this attracts the younger talent, the
Yeah.
young-ish talent. And I wonder, like, this. It was interesting because I was watching. I forget the guy's name. There's a British dude who has a pretty big YouTube following who does Hyrox. I forget. I'm sorry, Mark something maybe, but he did it the Dekafit in Spain, and he made a point that he's like, I don't like running, so I'm gonna like. So I'm excited about less running for Dekafit. And to me, it's like, if you're no good at running, you are not going to do better at Dekafit. It is worse for you.
Stations are too short.
Fit. Yeah.
Stations are too short. The running's too fast.
Yeah. What's
If
the
they had, like-
shortest station in Hyrox, duration wise, for the best person on earth?
Farmers or
Minute
nope.
15.
Sled push in Hong Kong.
Slash person in Hong Kong.
But yeah, farmers you can get up to like 120.
And you're gonna have what, 3 to 4 stations under that? In
Yeah.
Deka?
Easily.
Yes, at least. Step overs, sit ups, lunges, ball overs,
Farmers. carries.
farmers
Bike.
for the
You have
best.
a lot of that, like
Most of
50
them
to
are.
60-second range.
Yeah, so 60% of the race is done in 75 seconds or less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, on the women's end, this is going to be really interesting. I think that these times will definitely bump down. So, what do we think? Last year, the top qualifying time is 35:52. what do we think that? And right now, that the 20th time is 38:28. Do you think it'll get much faster than 36 flat with all those names that we mentioned?
I mean, I'm just looking at the names and seeing Faye Morgan and Julie Best right around 38 flat or so. That and Michelle Navarro, she just ran sub 6 pace for a 5K recently. Like, that's pretty good on the women's side. So I think that 37 to 38 range is going to be pretty clustered.
I think it's the same time as last year. That's what we're looking at.
You think it is going to be at that 30, 35, 50?
I do like seeing Nicole, like, and other people will. Katie Duke's going to be really good. Like, just seeing some of these new faces trying it, that at least is a promising sign. Even if the 37 flat is pretty similar to what it ends up being. But yeah, I think there are 5+ names who haven't done it this year who are going to be sub 35 or so.
What already. I meant, Rich, though, is
37. Okay.
Is that is no, I misspoke there. I think 37 flat is probably
for 20th.
For 20th. Okay. 36.
Yeah, maybe even 37 mid.
We would hope
they'll be faster.
What the hope would be is if we expand this field, that it wouldn't water things down as much. We'd hope that the times would be faster this year, right? Like if the 20th time last year was 37 flat, we'd want it to be faster than that this year.
I'm not sold that it will be on the women's side.
It seems like the depth down. Like, so you think it, like, I'd be pretty shocked if Teresa Ramfola doesn't make it with a 37.06.
Yeah, she'll definitely be faster. And
well, she might not run another one.
37.30, I think, probably is 20th by the end of the year.
We're saying 37.30. I don't know.
Well, just think of what happened in Anaheim. So you had Lauren run away 33:49. Calypso was about a minute behind her. Nicole was about a minute back, and Katie Duke she missed a lap or something. So those four kind of broke away. And then you had 37:06 to 38:28. So within like a minute, you had 7 people. So I think that you could have some, and a few of them were within a couple seconds of each other. So I think that you could see a pack getting fitter as the year goes on. And then that kind of closes the gap and you get some of them in the 36 range instead of in the 37s.
I'm buying all of that. My only reservation is that so many of them are West Coast, and I can't guarantee that they'll actually do another one.
Well, you had Tom Hogan. You had Tom Hogan willing to go to Ireland to make the last spot, and
that'd be easy for him.
Yeah, I think you're going to see some people like West Coast versus East Coast. I think Teresa, she's in Flagstaff, I think, and let's see, Julie Best, where's she, like Utah, I think. Faye Morgan's California. So yeah, of course it's going to take some travel, but some of these, Katie Duke, she'll probably say 36:47. She's in Idaho, I think, but. Yeah, I mean, people do travel to the East Coast. It's not that weird. You saw plenty of people from Colorado and Utah go to and California go to Palm Beach for the 3K. Like, I don't see a reason why they wouldn't do one of the remaining 3.
It's like, how much do people care?
Yeah,
people care about Hyrox.
Yeah,
to a deep, like, and these might be like this, and this is like a lot of these athletes that you mentioned. It's their first year doing it, and they're just like testing it out. Like, how in are they? Are they willing to do California to Orlando trip for this 30-something minute race that they might not care that much about?
Well, especially since you have to buy 2 flights. If you're doing another one, you've got to do another one too. So do all of them care enough to fly 2 more times? I don't.
You mean for Dallas World Championships?
Yeah. Like, if you're going to travel for Orlando and you get a qualifier, well, you already traveled. You might as well go to World. Historically, we see that the women's field is a few years behind the men's, not only in performance in most things, but in dedication to traveling and going after things. So yeah, we saw Tom Hogan do it. Well, Hyrox is probably the exception to the rule. Has Deka shown yet that we have hybrid fans for it? I mean, not hybrid, what am I trying to say here? Rabid fans.
Not sure.
Especially on the females. I don't know. So would Faye Morgan, would these people who have children or have jobs, want to do this. I just can't guarantee that all of them will fly all the way to the East Coast to race. So yeah, I'm still saying 37, 10 to 30 is the cutoff.
It might be appealing to go to the East Coast because it's in Orlando and you've got Disney World and stuff. If you have kids, it could be a
Then-
counter argument.
If you have kids,
super expensive.
yeah,
buy
you're
them
taking
fa-
out a loan.
Buy that fast pass for everybody.
All right.
I heard that's required now. I'm gonna be no kids on the way, no real plans, but I want to be anti Disney. I'm gonna be like, dude, this is all.
Yeah, we're not going.
No, it's not happening. Like,
You can watch Disney on TV.
this princess situation, that shit is not even real. Shit is super fake.
Yeah.
Sending wrong messages. All right, so we're saying 37:02. What do we think is going to happen with that top time? 32:44 was at the World Championships last year. Tara Jackson in peak shape. She was right around 12:50 for the strong. Where do we see this going?
I mean, just look at what happened at Hyrox World Championship. You get Megan here, you get Lauren battling. Lauren's not going to be afraid to go out hard. She did that every single time. When she steps into Dekafit, she was like basically trying to get ahead of Nicole, which doesn't happen. So if there's a world record in her, she's not going to be afraid to go after it. And it might just happen on accident because she goes out hard.
I mean, and Meg could be better at this than she is at Hyrox.
Yeah.
I know.
And she and Lauren are just such different athletes. Meg is the type of athlete that will continue to break world records.
Mm-hmm.
And Lauren's going to keep running after championships.
Keep winning championships, yeah, for sure.
Not that anyone has I wouldn't say anyone's the odds-on favorite to beat Meg in a Deka this year. We saw her just like roll out of bed last year and decide to drive 6 hours and win. She
crushed everybody.
1919 in a Deka mile is again, that course very favorable, but that's nasty.
That's
so good. So I think all 3 records are broken this year.
Oh yeah. Well, one already was.
Yeah.
No, again.
Weekend. Yeah.
That's strong. I don't know. And we'll get to that. So what is even possible for the women?
That strong is so good.
Jack, can you pull up Tara's splits real quick?
Yeah, from
Worlds.
I can't share my screen. It's acting up, but I can read them off if you want me to.
You have it easily available because I could pull it up as well.
No, I've got it. Her
Okay.
32:44. She went 19:05 for a 5K, and I've got the rest if you need me to.
Okay, so 19:05.
Yep. So that means that she went 13:39 for her zones.
Okay.
So in theory, if she's like Kent, she can basically match her Deka strong, and same as
strong is 40 seconds slower in terms.
I'm saying so she might have 40 seconds of wiggle room right there. So that puts it at about 32 flat, like in a perfect scenario. I think Lauren Weeks, she was running about 19 flat when she did the race in SoCal with Nicole. Meg should be faster, but you'd think, but that means Lauren should be faster also. I don't know. I think you might see a 31 high, as crazy as that sounds this year.
Yeah, I think it's harder to project what's going to happen on the women's end than on the men's because the returning field is pretty similar. And what we've seen just happen in Hyrox on the women's end is just things that didn't seem possible, right?
Yeah.
And what Lauren and what Meg have been able to do in terms of their performance.
Yeah.
I agree, man. I think sub 32.
Look, let's take a look also. So solo this year, you had Kent, VJ, and Rylan all win their races. No one was there to challenge them during those races. And they've all, well, besides VJ, but both of them have run, about a minute faster. And Lauren was in no man's land the entire race when she did 33:49. So that means like getting in some competition. She, in theory, should be about a minute faster. So, and then she's just a great championship racer. She might even be faster than that. So yeah, I 32 low, maybe even 31 high, which is just crazy to think about.
All right, let's mark it down.
Bracken, what do you think? You think that's a crazy guess, or?
I think they break 32 before a guy breaks 28.
Yeah, I would say that's fair.
Okay. Because usually there's about a 10% difference in
They're
terms
sitting
of
at 20, right? 15 to 20
for what?
for their degradation from the men's Deka times.
No, I'm just talking in general. Like track and field, it's like 10,
Right, I'm saying, but what
11%
is it at right
swimming.
now? It's
I
bigger
don't
than
know,
that.
but what I was gonna say is relative to Ryland's record, it should in theory be about a 31:45 if you're at about 10%.
All right. Yeah, I think that's fair. The thing, and in Deka, some things aren't scaled. The machines aren't scaled, right? Like the box isn't scaled, but some things
Air
are.
bike, especially the longest station, you've still got to do 25 calories either gender.
Yeah, that doesn't seem to. That's not apples to apples.
Which makes that 1251 really impressive.
Well, what is even more impressive was the record that we just saw happen this past weekend from Carly Wopat. 11:55 in a Deka strong.
Where would she be in the men's field right now?
Up there, definitely in the top.
Yeah, that's faster than I think you went this year, right?
Come on. They don't for some like this is my time in it. They don't have my I don't know like some of I was 11:31 last year. It just doesn't qualify for this time.
Calendar year. Yeah.
Yeah. This one does for some reason though. So yeah, she would be 6th.
Faster than Megiddo, faster than Forrest, faster than your listed time. Faster than Grayson. That's disgusting.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Do you have any question marks about it?
Kind of. I don't know how, but like as a strong, like we said, like the only thing I could think of, I've been on some assault bikes that are not calibrated well and that are way fast. Yeah. That's the only thing I could think of because like she would have had to get off of this thing in sub. Like, so let's just go over like, so.
It had to be sub 80.
Sub 60, I would think.
Probably.
Like my Deka strong splits are generally like 140 on the row, 147 on the ski, and then like 55 on the bike. And that
like touch to touch.
Yeah, right. Like when I'm on,
or when you press the display.
Yeah, like that's basically touch to touch. I would say.
Gotcha.
So, and that's like holding 81 RPMs or something like that on the bike. That's so. I mean, Carly is.
She's 6'2". She was a pro volleyball player.
She's 6'2", jacked, and has a bit of an engine.
Yeah.
So like, if there was somebody who's going to pull those times, like that's very advantageous on the machines.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that in previous episodes. Maybe I was on the watch along. Like the size matters on those things, and she has it. Like, maybe, but like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't see where it would have to be a screwed up assault bike.
I mean, even if it was screwed up, say she got 20 seconds from that, the rest of her race is still legit.
Yeah, it's still a record.
Regardless, she still set the record by 30 seconds at a minimum, no matter, even if we're skeptical on
I'm not saying I'm skeptical.
No, skeptical is the wrong word.
Skepticism comes into play anytime a record is obliterated.
Yeah.
Obliterated. And
stacks up against the men.
And she recently, like, she took off a ton of time in a short amount of time too.
Yeah.
Like she's Nick Riker.
We were like, come on, bro. Are you serious?
We know how good Nick is at things and how fit he is right now.
Yeah.
It's just, she's within striking range of Ryan Kent right now.
Yeah. No, I know.
I because of her company, it's hard to even fathom.
Yeah. So I did the math, and Bob Beeman, when he set the long jump world record and just obliterated the old one, it was a 6.5% improvement, and Carly went 5.9%. So it was Bob Beeman-esque. It's crazy.
Pretty good.
It is. Yep.
So I mean, like,
if she does it again, then it's totally legit. I still believe it. Like, I know that we kind of started the episode saying like, some Deka miles where we're a little skeptical, but we kind of in general buy into strong. Like, I just think given her background and stuff, former Team USA volleyball member, like big, which
just
is
her size,
power output.
Yeah, just her size.
Yeah. This isn't me talking about her because there's no reason not to believe anyone's time. I don't believe anyone's times outside of a Dekafit until I see it at championship.
I think that's
Only
fair.
because there's so many things that can accidentally be done wrong, especially since all the reps are different. Like 20, 25, 30, 20, 25. Like, it's all so different that so many things can go wrong and things can be misweighted. And you could pace out the sled distance
The sled could be variable as well, depending on the surface. And like there's
even the
settings
sled
on
itself.
it. Yeah.
There's not a standard for this. It could be one of those sled
Is that true?
runner sled. Like
Can it
if
be
that's
that?
what they have at a strong, that's what they have.
I guess so.
So anyway, that's not about her. It's about everyone's. I don't believe anyone's time until I see them compete against other people. So
True.
Yeah.
she should be the one who could do it if there is someone.
For sure. Like if it was someone else, I would really be like, But even still, her, it's just like, holy, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the time, holy shit. I was like, man, I gotta be a little bit better than this then.
Yeah.
Made me feel bad about myself. Yeah.
1250, right?
I got a second last year. I'm like, no, it's not good. So that's amazing. So I mean, the strong times on the men's side too. Like we're gonna see a lot of improvement depending on who comes in. So these things they really are hard to project. Like, what we're gonna need.
You're not going to see Ryan Cornish. It was actually a hip issue, not an ACL that I mentioned before.
Got corrected.
Yeah, but he's out for the year. He's got surgery and stuff. So
Dang.
Kevin Gregory, though, should we give him his shine right now?
Bubs?
He's nasty. He's been waiting for he's been around for like a decade in OCR and stuff. I think that he was just waiting for some way that his talent could get shown off, and he's a monster on the machine. So good on him.
So good.
Large individual. And yeah, I know he's like he kind of took a page out of Corning's book. Like everything is bike. But like Kevin's an endurance athlete. Like he's done ultras. He came
24-hour ultra.
Yeah, didn't fail a single obstacle. And he has the ability to do well on other pieces, where Corning is just a power machine, and his capacity to do work is much lower. So he has to really kind of figure out where to spend it. I think Kevin's a better endurance athlete. So I think if he improves across the board, like this 11:11, I like that seems like something he should be able to do.
Is that the all-time record?
I think it's tied. I think Kent was 11:10 or 11:09.
Yeah, I thought Kent was like slightly
Kent still
faster,
has it, I believe. Yeah.
Someone's going in the 10s this year.
Yeah. I think that these times could get way faster.
Way faster?
In terms of
at the top?
In terms of the depth.
Oh, depth, yeah, definitely.
Like the qualifiers, like last year, where are we at?
Yeah, but we saw some people who were like 12 low who ended up doing like 14 and change.
It's a championship though. It's like
I know. But that's a big drop off.
I think to get in, you're gonna need to be like 1140s.
20th?
I wouldn't doubt it. These things
now that would be like 5th place. You think there are going to be 15 new people come in?
Or who improve their times?
I think it's right around 12.
Yeah, 12 flat.
Maybe
12
under.
Flat. Okay. I could see it.
Well, because look how many people are within 20 to 30 seconds of 12 already. That I'll believe, like, look, if I show up 2 stations, I'm under.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of people who haven't done one.
Scroll down a little, Rich. Just who's in the 20s and 30s who might,
this dude Ivan Milan. He goes to
45.
Bubbles, he goes to Bubbles gym. He's just this massive like Russian dude who's like he pulls under 130 in a strong on skier. It's crazy. The whole machine's like moving. It's like, oh my god.
Jeremiah, he'll get faster.
Jared, yeah.
Jeremiah. Oh, Jarrett Newby, yeah. Yeah.
Gunther should be faster than that. Mark Paul Z Fontaine.
Is Nubian? Oh yeah, Jared is there.
2 of them. He's gone 12:43 and 12:46. It looks like, so that's kind of, he'll probably be relatively close to that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I think that like I was in that range last year, and then just had a good one and ended up like right around 12 flat. Or under. I was under. Right. Yeah, I was 1150 something.
And like you don't have Rylan on the list right now. He hasn't done one. you've got plenty of big contenders who should be.
I'm just gonna
making a
keep
comeback.
ringing the bell, Isaiah.
Isaiah,
this,
no, for sure.
I will. I'll give you that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So yeah, that'll be interesting. The strongs, and I mean, we've already seen in the women's end, like the high end of what we're going to
Marcus.
Marcus is going to crush this. Is Colin
This
on
is
here?
where the Hyrox people would shine, in my opinion. I know that they can run also, but like just straight up aerobic work at
Colin,
the end. Like
Colin Stiefer is going to be
Colin's gonna be good. Marcus
well
is gonna
under
be
12.
nasty.
He's going to be well
Yeah.
under 12. Yeah.
Marcus will come out like 11:30 or 40.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
He's a beast. Debo.
Yeah.
There was someone else too who I was but yeah, I think you're right, Jack. The people who are into Hyrox because of the strength elements,
Yeah.
who might look at Deka like, like they can come in and do really well on a strong.
Yeah. Yeah. There were actually only 7 people who ended up breaking, or 6 people who ended up breaking 12:44 last year in the world champs. So you just saw, I think some
Championship
people
race.
went out championship. I think that some of them just went
Lot
out
of running
and
in
paid
it.
the
Yeah,
price.
Deka 400.
Yeah.
What did Marcus time trial his 2K ski in? Was he like 6:38?
He was just under. Yes, he was just under 640.
I mean, that you're talking about just different types of power output.
Yeah,
for
it's
this kind of thing.
That's better than my row 2K.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's better than my row 2K.
Mine.
Well, yeah, I said it was better than mine. So like,
And we all know Bracken has the
Valid.
slowest out of us this year. So
No, what have you
done
gone?
it?
you did it. I went 6:53 and you went like 6:55 or 4.
No, I wasn't that fast. I was like 56 or 58.
Okay, so, well, there
Under.
we go.
Under.
Mine was at altitude.
I did. I tried
That
it.
air resistance on that fan, I'm not buying
That's
it.
true.
It was at Kent's garage. He's got all the times.
He's got a humidifier down there.
Yeah.
The I tried to do a 2K maybe 2 weeks ago, and I just went way too hard, and I was like, I'm the fucking man. And then like 800 meters in, I'm like, I need to stop. I like actually bailed. I was like,
Yeah.
I was hurting way too bad too soon. I was like, this isn't it.
I'm not a good enough
Calling.
rower to get out hard. I have to negative split my 2K,
Yeah.
which
just-
isn't.
It's not
Like,
ideal. Yeah.
It's not. Which means I'll just not hit my best because I don't spend enough time rowing.
Yeah.
Like that first 400 is usually can be a little bit faster because you can get out real hard and then
Yeah.
settle. And like those first couple of strokes are like kind of free.
Yeah.
But I just got out hard and stayed there. I'm like, yeah.
Stayed.
Yeah.
And then I died and then felt really sad for a while.
Yeah.
But I'm better now.
Yeah.
All right. So we touched a lot on Deka, and like now that Hyrox is over, we're gonna see this will probably be a focus of what we're thinking about a lot more. So
Yeah.
Look at
Just
Carl
kind of-
Fallish on there.
Dude,
He
you see
named his
mile?
garage. He named his garage. That's
Yeah,
Yeah,
Hybrid
he went in
garage?
the 18s.
He's like the third fastest right now. His
Yeah.
time is faster than mine. 1824.
yeah. That's
We'll
not a gym.
we'll
That's
see
his
at Worlds.
garage's name. I like that.
Yeah.
The hybrid garage. What's your gym name, Bracken?
It's just the lab.
That's the lab. We call
Or
ours
dungeon.
the dungeon. It could be a dungeon for sure.
Yeah.
We call ours the shop because there's some
The
like
shop.
there's some woodworking back there happening too.
Go.
I don't want to call it the lab though, because
A lot of people are
conjures
calling
up
that.
Richard Diaz.
Yeah.
A lot of people are
You know,
using that.
He's got this. So I don't have a name. I guess we just say we're gonna head down to the basement.
It's the basement.
I guess so.
Look at this list right there.
BASS.
Yeah. Number 7 on the list right there, aged 14 to 17.
Whoa.
1909, Cade Collins.
I like it.
Not Dade Collins, Cade Collins. So it could be
Collins Death
he
Camp.
has kids. I don't know if it's his, but
See, that's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking. If like kids who have been introduced to CrossFit at a young age start to
Yeah.
catch wind of this stuff, they're going to
Never
come out.
grow.
we're in trouble.
It's going to be a problem for, especially for the older folks.
Look what happened in the women's field for CrossFit in the past couple of years. It's like they're all right around, high teens,
20,
early 20s. Yeah.
Yeah. And even dudes like Medeiros is young.
Yep. Yeah.
That's just my official ticket out of even trying to pretend or contend anymore. You got teenagers giving it to you. It's
Yeah.
time.
That's when you just actually know. Be like, oh, okay, I was just hanging on because nobody was really around.
Yeah.
But if like it's all a bunch of kids 25 and under, then it's like
Game over.
I'm an age grouper now.
Yep. Go to
Glenn?
the Deka Strong women. Let's see them.
Glenn could realistically be that kid's dad.
For
age-wise.
For sure.
Yeah. It's crazy. Huh?
Look at Jess though.
Jess Petro.
Wow.
She was in World Champs last year.
She's
12:52.
better than Meg
How
and
was
Chris
Meg?
Rogowski.
When did Meg do that relative to like her Hyrox world record?
That was in the beginning. Yeah, no, it was like somewhere between like Chicago
Yeah.
and they're like, yeah, she came out and ripped one, but with very little prep.
I'm impressed with Jareen right there. 13:05 and
Jareen's
Chris 13:04. Like,
Jareen's a beast.
yeah.
So we'll probably see a lot of this too. Like last year, the 12th time was 13:52, which is right around that now. Or no, I guess.
When
Yes.
is Carly's from?
I don't know, but like, see, I don't know. Like she has a time on here that is 13:32. So she's taking like
2 minutes.
Gotta update
Minute
that.
almost
50?
2 minutes. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you've got Vivian in 13:46. There's no way that's her cap. And then Sherry Adams made the top 12 last year. Jillian Ford also last year. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 13:0 something that makes it in for the women.
I think that's fair. 13:0 is a good place to shoot for top 20. But yeah, like more athletes could come in. I mean, this shit is blowing up.
Where's Lauren?
Yeah, Lauren's not on here.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move along. So Deka is going to be interesting now that we have now that Hyrox is over. I mean, the season's been going along, but we've had Hyrox there and the championship kind of building up. So now we'll have some time to talk about what Deka is going to look like and how these performances are going to move along. So we can talk about a couple things. You guys choose. We can talk about Murph, or we could talk about Hyrox qualifier.
I thought we were gonna have guests for the Hyrox qualifier one. If we were gonna,
We're going to have
do
a
that.
debate, but we haven't really laid it out
Okay.
in a succinct way.
Fine, sticking with Hyrox.
BK?
I think Murph's dumb.
Come on.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Yeah, people bastardized this fantastic, like, patriotic movement in order to, like, just chase clout on Instagram.
It's a pretty cool record because of how much it's been done, though.
That part's cool.
We're talking about this. Chris Woolley just made an attempt. He ran 35. I did have this down. 35:12. Alec Blennis has a record, and these are both OCR guys who is 32:41.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hunter's in there somewhere as well. So, and this is a workout that kind of came from the military background and really got popularized through CrossFit. So some of the best functional fitness athletes, hybrid fitness racers in the world have taken this on. So for that reason, I think it's kind of cool.
It is cool. I'm just sick of it.
You're done with it?
I'm not sick of it. I'm sick of the people surrounding it, the fringe. It's a real negative take of mine. I'm sorry for it. I want to be more positive.
No,
But your shirtless selfie doesn't help Murph's memory. That's not why you're posting this, right? Like if you're going after the competition record, fantastic. Make it about you. But if you're writing this post because it's so cool and it's honoring this person, like put a picture of him. It's not your chance to flex for the camera. I'm kind of, it's just another reason for people to look at me rather than look at the reason. So now I'm done. I'm off my soapbox. Let's talk about the competition of Murph.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Like why people are doing it might get lost from what's been going on for so long. But
well, I'm okay with people saying I'm chasing the record. I've done that twice. I've gone after to see how fast I can do it. That's cool.
What's your PR?
People who are like, oh my goodness, I don't even know.
Oh, you're lying.
I want to say I cracked one time, went 49.
Ooh.
And then the other time I thought was like 10 minutes faster.
Okay.
I thought it was 39 and 49. But
Yeah.
anyway, like be honest with it. If you're going after the record and you're doing it as the workout, do it. That's cool. But I'm just tired of people like trying to pick just reasons to put up swell pictures, but then claiming military like honoring. Like you're not honoring the military. You're putting a picture of yourself.
It's just a sick workout to do that you get that.
Yeah.
There's a photographer at.
Yeah.
And it's a fun community event. Like if you have done it at a CrossFit event, I've had
both of mine have been.
Yeah, they're
awesome.
Very fun times. So Chris fell just short. Talked to him a little bit. He kind of cited how he just got too amped. It got in over his head on terms of the plan, and just like the spectacle around it was a little bit too much. He thinks his fitness is there. He's going to give it another crack. And yeah, pulling for him, rooting for him.
If you watch his reps, I didn't see anything that was questionable. So I think that if he does improve his time substantially, like, you're not really going to see anybody complain about it.
Good.
The only thing that will get complained about is the thing that always is, which is we got to discuss the weight vest. When the push-ups just go until the weight vest makes contact, but there's 3 inches gap between the vest and your chest, it's an issue.
You think
I'm not
so?
saying, well, yeah, but like if it was hyperwear, it would be 3 inches difference of depth or 4 compared to something that's hanging low. And you see these people that are just like get done with the push or the pull-ups and just unloosen their vest, and then it just hangs forward and they're just doing like little. That's the only place. His squats were beyond reproach. Blennis's were beyond reproach. Their pull-ups look.
Alec went unbroken, right?
Yeah, but the form like so deep.
Yeah.
Which I think is necessary to go fast in these things. You got to go deep.
Yeah.
But the push-ups are the ones that all those fitness people online are like, these aren't push-ups. It's because the only rule is chest hit the ground. And if you have a saggy weight vest on, then it just sags to the ground.
Fitness people online are like the buttholes of the internet, man.
They really
just
are.
like, those aren't real pull-ups. Like, dude, this is a competition. If you're seriously going to complain about CrossFit pull-ups still, like, you have no idea what you're talking about. Like, it's just a different thing.
It should just be renamed.
Yeah, they
Just
should.
call it a different movement, then there's no issue.
Chin over bar, chest to bar. No,
I think all we need to know
holds.
is, did Murphy back in the day do kipping pull-up?
That's true. Probably not. Probably not.
But again, this isn't that. This is the competition. In the competition, pull-ups for time are dumb. So you have to do butterfly.
Have to do it. It's a capacity thing. Yeah, if you're doing strict pull-ups for lat engagement and hypertrophy, yes, they are less than ideal.
Yeah,
but for time, they are ideal. They are more appropriate from that perspective. Okay, so anything else on Murph? Just want to give our guy a shout.
Yeah, I mean, he went after it. It's tough to put yourself out there for, saying, hey, later this week I'm going after the record. And a lot of people are looking at you, so you don't want to crack.
Looked like it really sucked too. It didn't look fun at all. That back half was
that last mile.
He was still fighting though. That last mile was not good. They looked rough, but he was still. He like picked up the pace a little bit here and there. He's trying.
I think it's one of the ultimate tests of functional fitness, you might even call it. You just can't hide anywhere in that workout.
Yeah,
and I think it's really mentally difficult to execute because you have to hold yourself so rigid to what you can do. You can't tip because there's just too many reps, but you have to break so often that it's like breaking on the sled. It doesn't feel like competing until you're smoked and then you're dead and then it sucks. Like, it's just a very difficult test physically and mentally. And so anyone who goes after it and finishes has my respect.
It's like doing singles on barbell work. It's like way easier to just string these together, but at what cost? And
unpartitioned 200 push-ups with a weight vest.
Nasty.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
Major issue.
Yeah.
Major issue for a skinny runner guy chest and long arms. I
wonder if he ran into the same
arms.
Wonder if he ran into the same thing Hunter did, which is what Alec didn't run into, which was Alec didn't go super specific in training for this. And the other two guys, I think, went after it. And then it's hard not to get overworked at hinge points, insertion points. It's a really damaging style of training. And it's so easy, I think, to tip over. Hunter tipped badly in training. It just seems like some of these guys, most of them PR in practice leading up to it and then are overcooked.
The old Hyrox. Hey, I got that world record. Easy. Watch.
Except this one is the same in training, right?
True.
You usually just train where you're going to compete it. And Alec was the only one who went after it without doing a training block for it.
Yeah.
His pressing is just help. His pressing is just so strong, and his levers are just so small. Like it's a good workout for him. Right?
Very good.
It's a good workout for him. I mean, that's pretty, and it's impressive. 32 something on partitions.
Very impressive. Yeah.
I mean, what would you find outside of like a fresh Frazier or someone? You would build Alec if you wanted to do it. You would have someone with a massive engine, compact frame, very, very thick torso without long arms, and someone with huge work capacity, really good range of motion, and huge pressing.
Endurance background, like as a runner in high school, right? Like he's
ultra runner for years. Like he is who you would
transformed. Yeah.
Other than again trying to just take Frazier and say train for this for a bit and do it fresh.
Even still, I think Frazier would have a hard time.
He would right now.
He's on your program. He's on your program right now. Yeah. Single leg assault bike and seated wall balls.
Those are good, honestly.
Can you think of anyone who would be more set up for it? Like who would you pit against if you had to have a world competition of all the people we can think of in this? You put Alec there. You put Hunter for the spectacle.
Woolley for sure. I think Forrest Bogue could be a good one.
I think actually Cole Schwartz. I know we make fun of him.
I don't. I respect him. Yeah. But Cole, I
think if you gave Matt Kempson time to prep for it, I think he's a work capacity guy.
That's a good one.
Isaiah.
He's someone whose his sum is always more than his parts.
Yeah.
Like the whole is better than the sum of his parts.
He shows up. Yeah, that's for sure.
It's like Lauren Weeks at championships. Just delivers.
Is that a women's record? Less people chase it, I guess.
They did it in the CrossFit Games, so we can see what a time. I'm sure it was under 40. Yeah.
We've done it a couple times. And I don't know if there's ever...
It's like 100 degrees on turf.
Yeah.
There's a hill in the middle of it. They ran up out of the stadium.
Yeah. Not ideal for fast time. Yeah.
There was a one athlete who was Kara Saunders. She almost like died. Like legit was like a zombie out there during it.
Yeah. You would want a Miram type Van Roar.
Oh yeah.
Type
the squats. That would just be
you got to be able to do 300 nearly unbroken. I don't think unbroken matters, but you would have to be able to if you wanted to with a few shakeouts to be able to run after. But who's going to run sub 6 at the end? Like that's the person you have to start this building the perfect athlete with.
And I'm probably misquoting this, but I think it was Rock's Life who did a preview on every single athlete at Hyrox Elite 15, like what their PRs were in lifting. And they got to Miriam and she did something like almost 70 body weight squats in a row.
What?
Which like
on the on the bar.
On the bar.
Oh.
So
I was
like me doing 70 body weight squats at like 185 or something. That's not happening. And whatever she weighs, like that's amazing strength endurance there.
If you were allowed to take as many seconds in between reps as you wanted, as long as you didn't rack it, could you hit 70?
For body weight? 175. 70's a lot. 70's a lot. I mean, I did 20 at like 100 pounds over body weight.
Well, that's not nothing.
That's good.
Not nothing. So, but like 70, maybe if I could just like chill, hang out.
I think I'd 100% need that, like the foam on my back.
Disqualified.
All right. How about the one
every 10 seconds,
where you do
one
the
rep,
front rack?
Could you get 70 done?
If what?
Well, every 10 seconds, a rep.
Every 10 seconds on the 10 second.
Yep.
I don't think so.
I feel like my core would get really sore towards the end of that, and that would start failing me.
I'd be doing EMOMs.
Yeah.
1 rep by the end.
I'd probably tap out at like 30 to 35.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'd be like,
again, I'm gonna say it again. Isaiah
could do it.
I said him.
He has freakish pushing as well. When he used to do his burpee challenges, when he did that 225 or 230 for time, he made it like 208 or 210 or something before he started to struggle off the ground.
Yeah.
Like that is a ton of, and I might have the reps wrong, but I watched the entire thing and he just popped off the ground every single time. It is like something I'd never seen before.
Yep.
Yeah,
I do 30 in the middle of a Spartan race, and by 13, I'm worming my way off the ground.
gotta
Yeah.
big time.
Yeah.
You can do the woods where you just don't touch the ground too, half and up. All right, let's talk about the Hyrox qualifiers real quick, and this is not official. Jack, do you know kind of how it's working?
Not, isn't it? Aren't there just more regional championships and only a certain amount of auto qualifiers, and you need 2 times or so? I don't know the specifics. I've just heard bits and pieces.
And that's kind of what they've released, right? They had an
Yeah.
athlete briefing that it seemed like it was less about collaboration and more about them just telling them what it's going to be. So I don't have it written down
Good.
anywhere, but I'm just going to kind of tell off the top of my head.
They haven't listened to our podcast this year, basically.
No, and I do want to put
Yeah.
together a debate
Yeah.
about and laying out some different qualifiers. It's not going to matter because they're going to do what they are going to do. Again, event company, not a sport company.
Yeah.
Something we must keep in mind. If you just keep that in mind for them, it hurts a little bit less, but they're still like, why even do it at all? So they're having 4 different regional qualifiers where it's still the Elite 15. So the Elite 15 athletes in the world are the ones who are going to get first dibs at these regional qualifiers. And then at each qualifier, you're going to get 3 automatic qualifiers, 2 world championships within those 4 regional qualifiers. So there's going to be a US, 2 Europe, and 1 like Asia Pacific. So there's potential 12 automatic qualifiers on the board. They're not going to do a roll down past those. So the same 15 go to every race and the same 3 win every single time. Then those 3 are the only ones who automatically qualify. And after that, it's time-based. So it's literally the same thing as this year, only more opportunities for the Elite 15 to race their way into the World Championships. There is some kind of proposal for a last chance qualifier. They don't know where it's going to be. They don't know when it's going to be. And that is when, and I think to qualify through that, it's the top 2 times combined, or maybe your top 2 times are what qualify you for World Championships based off of time. And that's their solution for taking out outlier races. So I think that's kind of where we're at right now.
And is it the same garbage where like you have to be ranked in the top 15 worldwide at the time of your regional championship in order to even be in that field?
I believe so. And it's not your regional championship. It's just a regional championship.
Okay, so same deal. Europeans, North America, Lauren could go and win every single one of them this year.
It could be the same 15 at all 4 if everybody wanted to travel.
And just keep guys like you out who might not have the time qualifier at that point. So they're still basing who gets to race these on potentially getting a fast course.
Yes.
They don't learn.
But you have to do 2 to confirm it was fast.
I don't believe
Back-to-back Spain.
I think you have to do 2 if you're going to qualify for World Championships on time, not to qualify for the regional championships. Like
So
you could do
only
1
for regional championships.
You can do 1 and then
I didn't know that.
So it could be like the Spain race and then or the Frankfurt last year, right? That was what kept me out of North America. Like 8 guys from Frankfurt were in front of me for North American Championship. So there could be one of those, and you could use that time from November to reach all of these other races, all other 4 qualifiers, I believe. Is what it's like.
So they still aren't having, now that they've had more regional races, they're not limiting you to the region that you qualified into.
They're not doing that, no. So same as last year.
Okay. So Megan and I talked about this briefly on our interview with her, which, Rich, I know you don't listen to us, but she did really, really well. She's dynamic.
But she crushed. She's amazing.
She was awesome. Yeah. But, so I'm just going to repeat briefly because a lot of people have heard this already, but I don't think it fixes things because it doesn't take care of the outlier thing. It just ensures that the people who have access to more outlier races still can get to them in the races in the US and over in Asia Pacific don't have as many opportunities. So it increases the chances that you get a bad course rather than making sure you didn't just get a fast course.
Yep.
Makes it worse. It makes it worse for the US athletes.
Yeah, it makes it better for everyone else. It doubles down on the biggest weakness of the system last year.
Yeah.
If you look at other sports, like the Olympics specifically, they typically only have 3 or sometimes 4 athletes from a single country are ever allowed. You want this to be a world championship, you need the world. I don't understand why someone from Europe should be allowed to win the Asia Pacific or the North American Regional Championship. Let the athletes who are from there be in charge of their fate. You have 3 good ones from every single region. Just give them a chance. And I know that in OCR, for instance, in Spartan Race, Sergey Paraligan, who won Spartan Race World Championship this last year, he has won the European and the Asia Pacific regional championship before, and they made a rule afterwards that you must reside in the region in which you compete, because they were like, it's not fair that he's just going over there and, you know, these are the athletes who have run 5 to 10 races this year, and someone just goes in and cherry picks and wins a bunch of money.
He also won the Middle Eastern Championship.
And Middle East, you're right. Yeah. And I know he's from Russia, which maybe, I don't know if he's on the Asia or the European side, what city he's from.
It means you don't have to follow the rules.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But bottom line,
says so on your passport.
they implemented a rule just already in Spartan, just to make sure that only the athletes from their region are able to do that. You saw Johnny Luna Lima and Alyssa Hawley and a few others. Matt Novakovic, he went over to Scotland once to do the European Championship with Kate Kramer, and like their places didn't affect the podium at the end of the day.
Look at Spartan, man. Look at that.
It was a 2-part rule. Yeah. They first implemented that you had to qualify in by running a race there.
Yeah.
And then they kept doing that, people with short flights, and then they progressed it. So they took 2 logical steps towards it. It's time for Hyrox to do that.
I think we have a lot of space to talk about what could be done, what could make sense, a lot of areas that we could critique on this, and that's why I want to do a full episode. I think we could do a full 2 hours on this, but that's just kind of like catching people up. That's what, and I don't know what the age group is looking like yet this year. I would imagine it's something similar to what they had done in previous years, where you have to, like, it's spots allocated by amount of participants. Again, I don't think that's a great way to do it, but
Ironman style though. There's at least precedent for that.
True, right? Like you know, Jack, you said they look at other sports, which Hyrox definitely don't.
No.
I don't do that shit.
No.
They're like, we watch football, and that's what we're gonna. That's what we're gonna. After
Dave Watson likes F1.
Hey, and look at us. And look at us now. Look at Spartan now. Look what happened.
Look at us.
I will say, like, CrossFit's another good comparison, and I like what they did. Even though they're having a different weekend for their semifinals for everyone to make the games, it's the same exact events, but everybody qualified by a certain date ahead of time. Yes, of course, if you had one of the later weeks versus the first week, you can see what athletes did wrong in those events because you're being tested on the same things.
But no advantage. Everyone has the same.
Yeah, they essentially eliminated the opportunity of a Hong Kong, where it's like, hey, you just happen to be able to travel the last week and now you made it. It's more like, here's the date, everyone's cut off, you have to live in this region, qualify through your region, that's it. I like that plan way better.
And qualify based off the strength of the region.
Yes, exactly. Where you have more athletes from this region because historically they've done better at the games over the past decade plus. First, this is a weaker region, you only have 1 to 3 qualifiers. So yep.
5, 5, 3, and 2 wild cards would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, exactly. Like 3 for the Asia Pacific, right? Yeah. They're new. We can't be sure what's going on over there. Yeah. But so that's kind of what we're looking at. So we need to figure your boy needs, and I think initially they don't have a lot of the dates. It's looking like DC, which I think I think Matt reported on the date of that. It's in March sometime. I think that's gonna be the North American Championship. They released it.
Will be there.
Magida will be there. He's gonna sponsor that thing. There's gonna be 2 European races, and the ones I mentioned, I think they were just kind of saying examples. I don't think it's set in stone, but again, it might be. But they were both in Spain, and my thought was like, okay, because your times at this race won't count toward your times for the season, right?
So they're getting it out of the way.
So they're thinking like, Spain is the one that's fucked up. Instead of fixing it or fixing all the system, let's like make the championship races there. It's like it doesn't fix anything. And
what region does that represent?
That's Europe.
Europe gets 2 in the same country.
Yes, that's what the initial like layout was.
And then Singapore was the pack region, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But then think with the Spain thing right there, it's like you said that the last chance is based on fast times. You go to both of those, you have 2 fast times. Like
those wouldn't count.
They don't count because it's championship racing.
Oh, okay.
Those wouldn't count.
It does help.
But but instead just like allow them to run the race, have those people prove that they can race well somewhere else. Like I don't care that their times are faster. Fine. Like, again, the cross country analogy is it. Like, you have a flat course, but like this, the other people had a hilly course, but eventually they meet and they race on a neutral course, and that's how you determine who goes to the next level or who wins the championships. But I don't know.
You give people the chance to face each other and knock each other out
Correct.
of contention.
Make it a sport.
Yep.
But so that's just kind of catch people up. Again, a lot we could do. I'm going to hopefully try to get everybody on the same page so we can get some sort of little debate going on.
Yep.
So Jackie or BK, this is you're going to be able to defend this. I believe it. I believe that you can
Team
do
Hyrox.
as easy work for you.
All the negative things I've thought about you all year, I'm just going to bring out right here as Hyrox.
Negative points
I'm
coming.
going to hide behind the moniker of Hyrox. I'm going to tear you to pieces.
And then at the end, be like, I was just pretending I was Hyrox. It's nothing personal.
Mega negative points.
Yeah.
All right. Last thing I want to pitch you guys is just to kind of let you guys think about this for a little bit and then see what you got, what we can kind of make of this. So I got this house, right? And there's been a bunch of house projects that's been popping off, right? And I just started ripping up the carpet down in the basement. First time taking on that project. And apparently you're supposed to cut up the carpet in smaller pieces, but I didn't do that. I just ripped it off from the side, rolled it up, and just dragged it out. Manhandled.
That's right.
Manhandled that beast. And I was like, thank goodness my fitness is so high so that I can just like do this, all this preparation. So then I got thinking.
So impressed. Yeah.
You know, we like to poke a little bit of fun at these pop-up events that are based around scenarios that literally are impossible for us to experience. Like being out in the woods with a pack on and needing to get 13 miles in one direction or in both directions as fast as we possibly can. The chances aren't zero, but if that happens, like
games. Yeah.
Right. So like for me in real life, if that happens, like that's there's a major problem. The chances aren't zero, but like probably pretty limited. Or like some sort of firearms. I don't own a firearm, so if me being in a scenario to do that, very low. So what if we had a games that tested people about like real world stuff, like how well they could do yard work, how well they could
but for performance.
Are you basically having people sign up and pay you money to mow your lawn?
No, I want to see who would be the best at mowing the lawn.
Oh,
At the skill of it or the fitness of it?
Fitness, no subjective, not like gymnastics where we're like looking at it like it's art, but like it'd be like, and it wouldn't be the actual thing. It'd be like push a sled, a light sled at a moderate pace for a long time. Hold your hands overhead and like screw something in for duration.
That would be tough, honestly. Like changing light bulbs after a while.
I was unscrewing something and I was like, I was in some pain.
Get some lockout up there. Yeah. I
One of my worst feeling instances this whole year was with yard work. I was wrapping up an extension cord and I whipped it around and it slapped right into my surgery site for my hernia. Hit me right on the stitches area with scar tissue, and
that's
it
worse
just
than the D.
about killed me.
I thought you were going to say the D, but that sounds worse.
No, I mean, odds are you're not getting hit there. It's a numbers game.
You're not getting hit there. So what do we think? Like, what kind of events could we put together?
I mean, we could do like test your lower body mobility. Like, how long can you stay in a squat while picking weeds? That could be another one.
Well, I have good insight on this because I am in the process of roofing my garage right now.
Yes, exactly.
So I'm in tear-off mode right now.
What kind of fitness do we need for tear-off
71
roofs?
pounds per bundle of shingles on a Jacob's ladder.
A scenario that people might face in real life.
Yeah, Jacob's
Get better in the
ladder,
roofing
71 pounds. How many bundles can you move?
Could you imagine like the getting off process on that?
Do you dump it, or like or is that just for duration, or is it for stacks?
Could be duration, or you could actually have ladder set up and you're just moving bundles up, down, left arm, up, down, up, down.
How about most bags of groceries brought in at once? We all do that.
You just want a farmer's carry event. Yeah, just like,
well, it's practical.
There should be no walls, no farmer's carry.
But that's what it should be. Farmer's carry, but like kind of moving sideways through doors and like moving around stuff. Move stuff around.
Yeah.
Agility.
Child carry for sure.
Is that a static hold? Is that like a bent arm static hold? or do you actually should you carry? Because I feel like a lot of times it's just kind of standing. I
I
don't
think
know.
there should be some sort of accelerometer or force meter in something you're holding, and you have to do tasks without setting it off. So it's going to take some core stability, some stabilizing ability, but you've got to be able to be dynamic with it. Like you can switch arms, that's fine, but you can't exceed like whatever the sensitivity rating is.
Yeah.
So that's more like an operation kind of game where you get buzzed.
It's
You have a
probably going to
shock
be a
collar
balance
on.
course.
Balance.
I would assume.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
got
know.
to you need insights for the parent side of things. You like, because all I got is yard work and carpet.
I like the idea of sort of a sled, like something on wheels, because you do that at the grocery store, you do that bringing your trash out. It's like just maneuverability.
Could be an agility course.
Unloading the bed of a truck, I think.
And nothing.
That's awkward.
Yes, and nothing heavy, right? Everything is like 5 to
life weight,
15 pounds.
Oh yeah, so everyone's gonna have the same score.
Or I thought you were just doing it for vault. Would it be for time then, or?
I assume so.
Yeah, it'd be for time.
I mean, there's 5 pounds. Everyone's gonna have the same score. It's gonna be like photo finishes.
Yeah, well, it could
That's
be
what we want,
multiple.
good
Tell you
multiple
what,
things.
there's some potential here. The yard games.
There's some meat on this bone, right?
Yeah.
The yard games, the real world, the real life
the home
games.
Yeah.
The actual functional
dad bod games, something like that.
Dad bod games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mandatory footwear. It's sponsored by like those white New Balance shoes that all the dads wear.
What are the Nike
ones? At this point,
too?
I think it's Crocs.
Really?
I feel Crocs are so dumb, but I understand like there's like an appropriate like use case for them. Like the slip on and off is pretty nice.
I have not worn.
I don't have a pair. I have Ufus and I have the Hoka recovery.
Yeah.
They're
I have not worn real shoes since I hurt my knee. I've just been wearing flip flops.
You're out.
Yeah.
Do we all have? Do you have to perform in flip flops and Crocs? Like, is that part of the deal? Like less than ideal footwear and like
maybe my highest athletic attribute is performing in flip flops.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
This might be what you. This might
be my thing.
This might be your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty dynamic in flip flops.
Okay.
Yeah,
you know that there's some listener out there who's like, Brackett's not as good as me in flip flops.
I have blown out probably 5 to 6 flip flops playing basketball.
Oh yeah, hooping them.
Yeah, whatever. I'll do it all.
That's crazy.
These are like thong flip flops.
Yep.
These aren't slides.
No,
slides would be hard.
Slides are dangerous.
2 thongs.
Definitely dangerous.
Yeah. When's it gonna happen, Rich? You're in charge.
Well, we're just brainstorming right now.
Yeah,
we got to make sure it's a viable option, but it sounds like, we have a lot of ideas.
Let's
like
get
the firefighter games, but just for yards.
But imagine the demographic. Imagine the numbers. How many people are tactical athletes? None. But imagine how many people just like do stuff at home. Everybody.
Do you want real world applicability? So
the market's huge.
There were these kids there's like some bushes and like a little path between the houses behind my house. And a couple of years ago, a couple of the little kids, they ended up lighting off a little fire, and then it spread and it caught the house on fire next to me. And I had a Home Depot bucket, and we were waiting for the fire department to get there. And I had a Home Depot bucket. I filled it with water on the side of the house with the faucet, and then went out there probably 7 or 8 different times. Had to go down a hill and then back up and stuff. And I put out the fire before the fire department came there. So like real world applicability of a bucket carry, the old school style. Also, I had to carry it in front
loaded.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I had that. I think Terrain Race, I did a bucket carry one time when it was filled with water. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, just splashing it out of there.
Out of here. Yeah.
Sprinting with an empty bucket.
Some listeners should chime in. We'll have the home games.
My very first Spartan race, there was a tire carry. And it was like up and down ravines, and people were just like rolling it down. You just toss over the top of the hill, get to the bottom.
That's good. That's a good move. Got to carry.
Unless you're the volunteer at the bottom, and then you're like,
there was no one. It was like you start at the top, get to the bottom, up, down, up, return it.
Yeah.
So it's just 2 hill carries with chase your tire.
I don't remember if this was an actual like a race that was regional or one that was like actually big and popular, but there was one that people were dropping their buckets and they were just rolling down the hills and just like an actual hazard, like flying down. This must have been when the lids were on, right?
Yeah. What's the biggest hazard you've had in a race? Probably you Bracken. I'm assuming it was that Florida swamp one when you almost got eaten by alligators and stuff.
There's gators, and I got hit on the foot by a snake strike. 200 meters into the race, it slapped the side of my foot. It was in the middle. There's this brown snake. I don't know if it was a moccasin or what. And suddenly people just start splitting around, and it's just like, tss, 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 and it hit my side of my foot.
Oh,
and I ran for
with the gators, same
quarter
race.
Mile. Like, is my foot tingling? And Hobie's like, first obstacle. Like, I think I just got bit. Yeah, same race.
I saw
that runaway truck tire was the worst I've ever seen.
Yeah. That's pretty scary.
That video alongside with that brown bear that almost, or black bear that almost took out Face Denny.
Oh, right.
I saw a rattlesnake at Fort Carson last year, but there was one that was it was a battle frog in Houston. And you know how sometimes you'll see those like drainage, like a slope, like a really big slope is probably like 50 feet tall, and then they put some rocks and stuff to make it so that the water just doesn't come smooth. It kind of breaks it up and slows its flow on the way down. It was like this big drainage canal, and you had to traverse across those with water rushing down it and stuff. And I remember that being like one of the sketchier. I'm like, someone's going to go like 50 feet down this thing in between these and just slide to the bottom and crash. But I'm sure it happened. That was hazardous. Rich, how about you?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably just anytime going down any descent at any Spartan race that's ever existed. That's been the most hazardous time that I've ever been.
I did a race in New Zealand with like 3 to 4 foot eels in the rivers.
What?
Yeah, meat-eating, toothy guys.
Electric eels like the cartoons?
No. Like, look up New Zealand lake eels. Big, black, thick, long.
I'll fuck you up.
Nightmare stuff.
All right, so we accomplished a lot today.
Yeah, this is good. Good talk.
What do we have? What do we have on the agenda? What's next in terms of sport that we could look forward to? Battle Bunker is this weekend. Hyrox New York is this weekend. Battle Bunker Regional East is this weekend. So that'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be something that I'm on the fence about going to the West one. I'm signed up. I'm not going to prepare in any way. I'm going to make a Instagram post that's going to let everybody know that I'm not preparing in any way, so that I already have that kind of baked in. Right?
Gotta have that.
That's an obligation that I must, and a tradition that I must uphold.
Yeah.
We
can spend some time on the podcast talking about it if you want to. Also, just another platform.
Yeah, just to completely make excuses.
Yeah.
I'm for it.
Yeah.
And then when is the next
Carolina? Dekafit Carolina. That's in like
2 weekends.
It's the 24th. So
what's the next Savage situation? When's Ohio?
It's usually in June. So
I believe that is coming
up soon. Yeah.
So,
but I don't.
Yeah.
You should know that. Are you on the mic?
Probably. Unless I got dumped from that too.
Happens.
Find out.
So there is some stuff afoot. Yeah, that's 17th. So that will be soon as well. So we'll have some things. Looking at Hyrox again. Maybe I'll try to get that debate up and rolling next weekend, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jack, you know who we got on the podcast this week? Interviewing tomorrow. Aaron Salmon.
The high school miler guy?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
A high school kid?
Sub 4?
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to talk to a high school kid about?
I don't like chicks.
Yeah, definitely, man.
He's sub 4. He's Nike cross champ, I believe.
Yeah.
I
thought it was like
Newberry Park, like Nico. He's run with the twins and all that stuff. So.
He has a twin brother also.
Yeah.
Connor, or not a twin. Not young brothers. They have twins,
yeah,
but I think
not a twin on his side.
But he has a very talented runner brother. Might be a year ahead, like Connor. I think Salmon.
Is he committed?
Like to us?
No. Is he in high school or is he in college?
He's in high school.
Okay.
Cool.
Where is he going to school next year? You know?
I mean, I assume NAU.
Wait, who is it?
It's either Stanford, NAU. Aaron Salmon.
Newbury Park graduates this year, NAU 2027. Yep.
He's one of the Newbury Park kids?
Yeah.
They have a faster miler than the twins?
You're not paying enough attention to teenagers, Rich.
I must be out. Why am I confused?
Mile split stats. What does he have? Oh, of course, it's all blurred out. They don't list results. So never mind. I don't have them.
Get that premium.
I'm gonna be using so many trendy new phrases with this kid.
Dude, you like be all Gen Z up in that.
Yeah.
Whatever Zen we're in,
Yeah.
I'm gonna just spam him with phrases that I found in Urban Dictionary.
You're gonna be so old. It's gonna be amazing. Yeah, what are you gonna just be like? Hey man, what's up, dude? He's gonna be like, no one. I don't know.
Like,
Yeah. He went
sir,
405.
no one wears visors flipped up anymore. Whatever.
Your puka shells.
Yeah. 148.91, 405. Yeah, he's got some wheels.
Nice. And you got Meg Jacoby on live now.
Yep, she's up.
What was your training Tuesday?
This was we just got done breaking down the training schedule styles. Now we're starting with the styles of quality workout. So talking about what really is speed work and what do you need.
You've done this one before?
Did a version of it probably a year and a half, 2 years ago.
You got new listeners. They need to know.
People need to be reminded. This is probably about the most frustrating question I get asked by athletes, which is, why don't we have enough speed work? Or I just need more speed work. I've got to be sprinting more often. I'm just not fat. My engine's good. I'm just not fast enough.
You're wrong.
And they just misinterpret what speed really means and how to get faster at it.
Speed extension.
And the word engine is always one that people, I need a bigger engine. It's like, you need a bigger gas tank. Your engine's probably fine, but it's burning through your energy way faster. So let's work on some gas tank.
Whenever someone says my endurance is great, I just need to be faster, I think, okay, so you're really good at moving slow for a long time.
Right. Yeah.
Everyone has good enough endurance if you go slow enough.
Right. Move a little bit faster for a long time. That's what you're not good at. That's what endurance training is. Yeah. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try that 9 day out, BK. Starting this week.
You know who else said they're gonna try it? Nicole Miracle.
I'm not trying it. I'm done. I'm out then.
She's about to take over the hybrid space.
No, yeah.
It's coming for you.
I mean, she knows there's gonna be heavy weight, you know?
Yeah. Deka is never gonna be heavy.
Deka's never gonna be heavy.
Yeah.
She's gonna do well at Deka.
Yeah, I think she will.
Bracken, real quick, I thought that there was some high schooler from Newbury Park who just like tore his hip or IT. That's him? Okay.
Yeah.
So it is the guy?
Someone said it was IT band tear, but then he signed up to run that big high school mile record attempt and DNF'd.
Gotcha.
So he's got something going on with it, but I doubt you could race with a tear.
Yeah. Connecting with the youths. You're going to have your, I mean, it's going to be exploding with the 15 to 19.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We're pretty lit.
That's perfect. Squad, great seeing you. We'll talk to you soon.